നമസ്കാരം. മോക്ക് ടെസ്റ്റിൻ്റെ പുതിയ വീഡിയോയിലേക്ക് എല്ലാവർക്കും സ്വാഗതം. ഇന്നിവിടെ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് തൊഴിൽ വീതിയിൽ വന്ന ജൂനിയർ ലാബ് അസിസ്റ്റന്റ് പ്രാക്ടീസ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ആണ്. സോ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ നമ്പർ 1. Nucleus in the cell was discovered by. Nucleus in the cell was discovered by option A. Rudolf Virchow, option B. Martin Rodbell, option C. Robert Brown, option D. Erwin Neher. Option A. Rudolf Virchow, option B. Martin Rodbell, option C. Robert Brown, option D. Erwin Neher. The correct answer is option C. Robert Brown. Second one. The part of the brain which controls voluntary actions. The part of the brain which controls voluntary action. Option A. Cerebrum, option B. Cerebellum, option C. Medulla oblongata, option D. Hypothalamus. The correct answer is option A. Cerebrum. Next question. Transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma of flowers of different plants is known as option A. Autogamy, option B. Hypnogamy, option C. Xenogamy, option D. None of these. Transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma of flowers of different plants is known as option C. Xenogamy. Transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma of flowers of different plants is known as option C. Xenogamy. Next question. Urinometer is used to measure dash of urine. Urinometer is used to measure dash of urine. Option A. Volume. Option B. Specific gravity. Option C. Reaction. Option D. Transparency. The correct answer is option B. Specific gravity. Urinometer is used to measure specific gravity of urine. Next, meiotic division takes place in option A. Reproductive cells, option B. Conductive cells, option C. Meristematic cells, option D. Vegetative cells. Meiotic division takes place in option A. Reproductive cells. Meiotic division takes place in option A. Reproductive cells. Join between atlas and axis. Join between atlas and axis. Option A. Ball and socket joint. Option B. Pivot joint. Option C. Hinge joint. Option D. Gliding joint. Correct answer is pivot joint. Option B. Pivot joint. Joint between atlas and axis is option B. Pivot joint. Congression occurs during. Congression occurs during option A. Early prophase. Option B. Late prophase. Option C. Early metaphase. Option D. Late metaphase. The correct answer is option C. Early metaphase. Congression occurs during early metaphase. Eighth question. Concept of ecological pyramid was proposed by. Concept of ecological pyramid was proposed by option A. Odom, option B. Tansley, option C. Rater, option D. Charles Elton. The correct answer is option D. Charles Elton. Concept of ecological pyramid was proposed by option D. Charles Elton. Next question. When a person is undergoing prolonged fasting, his urine will contain abnormal quantities of option A. Fat, option B. Amino acids, option C. Ketone body, option D. Glucose. When a person is undergoing prolonged fasting, his urine will contain abnormal quantities of option C. Ketone body. When a person is undergoing prolonged fasting, his urine will contain abnormal quantities of ketone body. 10th question. Which of the following is not a natural polymer? Which of the following is not a natural polymer? Option A. Cellulose. Option B. Starch. Option C. Polyester. Option D. Rubber. Option C. Polyester. Which of the following is not a natural polymer? Option C. Polyester. 11th question. Plastic used for the coating of non-stick utensils. Option A. Nylon. Option B. Teflon. Option C. Both A and B. Option D. None of these. Correct answer is option B. Teflon. A colloidal solution. A colloidal solution formed between two liquids is called. A colloidal solution formed between two liquids is called option A. Emulsion. Option B. Aerosol. Option C. Foam. Option D. None of these. A colloidal solution formed between two liquids is called option A, emulsion. Option A, emulsion. Compound added to rectified spirit to make it unfit for drinking purpose. Compound added to rectified spirit to make it unfit for drinking purpose. Option A, ethanol. Option B, methanol. Option C, butanol. Option D, nitinol. Answer option B, methanol. Compound added to rectified spirit to make it unfit for drinking purpose is option B, methanol. Next, if the oxygen atom is attached to a secondary carbon atom, the compound is known as. If the oxygen atom is attached to a secondary carbon atom, the compound is known as option A, alkane, option B, aldehyde, option C, alkynes, option D, ketone. The correct answer is option D, ketone. If the oxygen atom is attached to a secondary carbon atom, the compound is known as option D, ketone. The most electronegative element in periodic table. The most electronegative element in periodic table. Option A, fluorine. Option B, chlorine. Option C, bromine. Option D, iodine. Correct answer is option A, fluorine. The most electronegative element in periodic table is option A, fluorine. Elements of group 3 to group 12 belongs to. Elements of group 3 to group 12 belongs to option A, S block, option B, P block, option C, D block, option D, F block. Correct answer is option C, D block. Elements of group 3 to group 12 belongs to option C, D block. Neutron was discovered by option A, Irwin Ross, option B, James Chadwick, option C, Peter Agrim, option D, Odd Hassel. Neutron was discovered by option B, James Chadwick. Next question. Which of the following is known as supercooled liquid? Which of the following is known as supercooled liquid? Option A, ammonia. Option B, glass. Option C, phosphorus. Option D, alumina. Correct answer is option B, glass. Glass is known as supercooled liquid. For a body moving with a non-uniform velocity and uniform acceleration. For a body moving with a non-uniform velocity and uniform acceleration, option A, displacement time graph is linear. Option B, displacement time graph is non-linear. Option C, velocity time graph is linear. Option D, velocity time graph is non-linear. For a body moving with a non-uniform velocity and uniform acceleration, the displacement time graph is non-linear. The displacement time graph is non-linear for a body moving with a non-uniform velocity and a uniform acceleration. Next, reason for tingling of stars. Reason for tingling of stars. Option A, dispersion of light. Option B, total internal reflection. Option C, atmosphere reflection. Option D, atmospheric refraction. Correct answer is option D, atmospheric refraction. Reason for tingling of stars. Option D, atmospheric refraction. 21. A bullet fired from gun has. Option A, chemical energy. Option B, kinetic energy. Option C, potential energy. Option D, heat energy. The correct answer is option B, kinetic energy. A bullet fired from gun has kinetic energy. The four-stroke petrol engine is based on. The four-stroke petrol engine is based on option A, diesel cycle, option B, Carnot cycle, option C, Otto cycle, option D, Boyle cycle. The correct answer is option C, Otto cycle. The four-stroke petrol engine is based on option C, Otto cycle. Next, sound waves travels faster through option A, solid, option B, gas, option C, liquid, option D, vacuum. The sound waves travels faster through option A, solid. Concave lens is also known as option A, converging lens, option B, bifocal lens, option C, diverging lens, option D, symbol lens. The correct answer is option C, diverging lens. Concave lens is also known as diverging lens. Fiber optics works on the principle of option A, scattering of light, option B, total internal absorption, option C, total internal reflection, option D, optical rotation. And the correct answer is option C, total internal reflection. Fiber optics work on the principle of total internal reflection. Erythropoiesis is the development of option A, granulocytes, option B, red blood cells, option C, granulocytes, option D, platelets. Correct answer is option B, red blood cells. Erythropoiesis is the development of red blood cells. Next, modern use in acid-fast staining. Option A, iodine, option B, phenol, option C, alum, option D, iron. Modern use in acid-fast staining. Option B, phenol. Phenol is the modern use in acid-fast staining. The process of inhibiting the growth of pathogenic microorganisms in living tissues is known as option A, sterilization, option B, disinfection, option C, sanitization, option D, antisepsis. Option D, antisepsis. The process of inhibiting the growth of pathogenic microorganisms in living tissues is known as antisepsis. Cell present in normal CSF. Cell present in normal CSF. Option A, neutrophil. Option B, lymphocytes. Option C, plasma cells. Option D, monocytes. Correct answer is option B, lymphocytes. Cell present in normal CSF is option B, lymphocytes. Optimum level of HDL cholesterol is above option A 60, option B 50, option C 40, option D 30. Optimum level of HDL cholesterol is above option A 60. Option A 60. Optimal level of HDL cholesterol is above 60. Next question. Malaria is transmitted by option A, Aedes aegypti mosquito, option B, Culex mosquito, option C, female Anopheles mosquito, option D, none of these. Malaria is transmitted by option C, female Anopheles mosquito. Malaria is transmitted by female Anopheles mosquito. Next, blood is a type of option A, nervous tissue, option B, connective tissue, option C, muscular tissue, option D, epithelial tissue. Blood is a type of option B, connective tissue. Blood is a type of connective tissue. Ziehl-Neelsen stain is used to stain. Ziehl-Neelsen stain is used to stain option A, Streptococcus, option B, Bacillus sp, option C, Mycobacterium, option D, none of these. Option C, Mycobacterium. Ziehl-Neelsen stain is used to stain Mycobacterium. Polyuria can be caused by option A, obstruction in urine flow, option B, diarrhea, option C, diabetes mellitus, option D, vomiting. Option C, diabetes mellitus. Polyuria can be caused by option C, diabetes mellitus. 35. Decolorizer used in gram staining. Decolorizer used in gram staining. Option A, acetone, option B, HCl, option C, H2SO4, option D, none of these. Correct answer option A, acetone. Decolorizer used in gram staining is option A, acetone. Most common use of Fuchs-Rosenthal chamber is option A, RBC counting, option B, sperm counting, option C, CSF cell counting, option D, urine cell counting. Correct answer is option C, CSF cell counting. Most common use of Fuchs-Rosenthal chamber is option C, CSF cell counting. Blood cells that helps in coagulation process. Blood cells that helps in coagulation process. Option A, RBC, option B, WBC, option C, platelets, option D, plasma cells. Option C, platelets. Blood cells that helps in coagulation process. Option C, platelets. Most accurate method for measuring bleeding time. Most accurate method for measuring bleeding time. Option A, Evie's method. Option B, Levite method. Option C, Duke's method. Option D, fingertip method. Most accurate method for measuring bleeding time is option A, Ibis method. Ratio between blood and anticoagulant for coagulation studies. Ratio between blood and anticoagulant for coagulation studies. Option A 1 is to 5. Option B 4 is to 1. Option C 9 is to 1. Option D 5 is to 1. Correct answer option C 9 is to 1. Ratio between blood and anticoagulant for coagulation studies. Option C 9 is to 1. Final step in compatibility testing is option A donor grouping, option B donor screening, option C cross matching, option D recipient grouping. The correct answer is option C cross matching. Final step in compatibility testing is option C cross matching. The procedure where the alcohol in tissue is replaced by a fluid which will dissolve the wax used for impregnating the tissue is option A bit taking, option B clearing, option C embedding, option D staining. The correct answer is option B clearing. The procedure where the alcohol in tissue is replaced by a fluid which will dissolve the wax used for impregnating the tissue is option B clearing. The procedure where the alcohol in tissue is replaced by a fluid which will dissolve the wax used for impregnating the tissue is option B clearing. Test done to evaluate the body response of a patient to an immediate increase in blood sugar value. Option A glucose tolerance test. Option B glucose challenge test. Option C both A and B. Option D none of these. The test done to evaluate the body response of a patient to an immediate increase in blood sugar value. Option B glucose challenge test. Option B glucose challenge test. Which immunoglobulin has smallest molecular weight? Which immunoglobulin has smallest molecular weight? Option A IgG, option B IgE, option C IgM, option D IgD. The correct answer is option A IgG. Which immunoglobulin has smallest molecular weight? Option A IgG. Lipid profile tests include option A sugar, urea, creatinine, option B cholesterol, triglyceride, HDL, LDL. Option C CPK, LDH, myoglobin. Option D calcium, potassium, sodium. Lipid profile tests include option B cholesterol, triglyceride, HDL, LDL. Lipid profile tests include option B cholesterol, triglyceride, HDL, LDL. Last question. VDRL is option A slide flocculation test, option B tube flocculation test, option C neutralization test, option D none of these. VDRL is option A slide flocculation test. VDRL is slide flocculation test. Thanks for watching. First question. The chemical which is an active ingredient of bleach. The chemical which is an active ingredient of bleach. Option A sodium hypochlorite. Option B sodium chloride. Option C ethyl alcohol. Option D none of these. The chemical which is an active ingredient of bleach is option A sodium hypochlorite. The chemical which is an active ingredient of bleach, sodium hypochlorite. Next, the purpose of heat fixing a bacterial smear is to option A provide warm temperature, option B make cells visible, option C prevent cells from being washed off during staining. Option D none of these. The purpose of heat fixing a bacterial smear is to option C prevent cells from being washed off during staining. The purpose of heat fixing a bacterial smear is to prevent cells from being washed off during staining. Next, Allen's procedure is used for option A, capillary blood collection, option B, arterial blood collection, option C, venous blood collection, option D, urine collection. Allen's procedure is used for option B, arterial blood collection. Allen's procedure is used for arterial blood collection. Next, factor that affects blood collection include option A, angle of needle, option B, posture, option C, tourniquet application, option D, all of the above. Factor that affects blood collection include option D, all of the above. The factors that affects blood collection include angle of needle, posture, tourniquet application. Next, waste bags are barcoded to. Option A, count the bags. Option B, monitor waste generation to disposal process. Option C, no transporter name. Option D, none of these. Waste bags are barcoded to option B, monitor waste generation to disposal process. Waste bags are barcoded to monitor waste generation to disposal process. Sixth one, site of puncture in Duke's method for estimating bleeding time is site of puncture in Duke's method for estimating bleeding time is option A, fingertips, option B, forearm, option C, earlobes, option D, thumb. Site of puncture in Duke's method for estimating bleeding time is option C, earlobe. Site of puncture in Duke's method for estimating bleeding time is earlobe. Next, glassware used to measure 24-hour urine volume is option A, graduated cylinder, option B, beaker, option C, volumetric flask, option D, safety bulb. Glassware used to measure 24-hour urine volume is option A, graduated cylinder. Glassware used to measure 24-hour urine volume is option A, graduated cylinder. Next, a DNA strand is directly involved in the synthesis of all the following except a DNA strand is directly involved in the synthesis of all the following except option A, tRNA molecule, option B, mRNA molecule, option C, another DNA strand, option D, protein synthesis. A DNA strand is directly involved in the synthesis of all the following except protein synthesis. Protein synthesis. Next, WHO or ICSH recommended method for estimating hemoglobin is WHO or ICSH recommended method for estimating hemoglobin is option A Zianmet hemoglobin method, option B oxyhemoglobin method, option C Sally's method, option D Haldane's method. WHO ICSH recommended method for estimating hemoglobin is option A Zianmet hemoglobin method. Zianmet hemoglobin method. 10th one. Which one of the following is not a functional unit of an ecosystem? Which one of the following is not a functional unit of an ecosystem? Option A productivity, option B stratification, option C energy flow, option D decomposition. Which one of the following is not a functional unit of an ecosystem? Option B stratification. Which one of the following is not a functional unit of an ecosystem? Stratification. Neural organization is composed of network of neuron in dash, whereas it is present in the form of neural tissue in dash. Neural organization is composed of network of neuron in dash, whereas it is present in the form of neural tissue in dash. Option A insect and porifera, option B hydra and insects, option C hydra and protozoans, option D protozoans and insects. Option B hydra and insects. Neural organization is composed of network of neuron in hydra, whereas it is present in the form of neural tissue in insects. Next, compatibility test includes option A donor grouping, option B recipient grouping, option C cross matching, option D all the above. Compatibility test includes donor grouping, B recipient grouping, C cross matching, option D all the above. The correct answer is all the above. Compatibility test includes donor grouping, recipient grouping and cross matching. Next, in which of the following disease PCV decreases? In which of the following disease PCV decreases? Option A anemia, option B leukemia, option C thrombocytopenia, option D none of these. In which of the following disease PCV decreases? Option A anemia. In which of the following disease PCV decreases? Answer anemia. Next, boiling tubes are made of. Option A soda lime glass, option B fiberglass, option C Pyrex glass, option D all the above. Boiling tubes are made of option C Pyrex glass. Boiling tubes are made of Pyrex glass. Next, basic principle of three-part automated analyzer is option A, electrical induction, option B, magnetic resonance, option C, electrical impedance, option D, both A and B. Basic principle of three-part automated analyzer is option C, electrical impedance. Basic principle of three-part automated analyzer is electrical impedance. Next, test done to ensure that particular unit of blood may be safely transfused to a patient is test done to ensure that particular unit of blood may be safely transfused to a patient is option A, coagulation test, option B, compatibility test, option C, both A and B, option D, none of these. Test done to ensure that particular unit of blood may be safely transfused to a patient is compatibility test. Option B, compatibility test. Next, a person who donates his or her blood to be stored and reinfused if needed during surgery is known as a person who donates his or her blood to be stored and reinfused if needed during surgery is known as option A, forced blood donor, option B, autologous blood donor, option C, professional blood donor, option D, none of these. A person who donates his or her blood to be stored and reinfused if needed during surgery is known as option B, autologous blood donor. Autologous blood donor. Next, dash is needed as a source of nutrient for growth and reproduction of microbes. Dash is needed as a source of nutrient for growth and reproduction of microbes. Option A, bacteria. Option B, pathogen. Option C, media. Option D, reagent. Dash is needed as a source of nutrient for growth and reproduction of microbes. Answer option C, media. Media is needed as a source of nutrient for growth and reproduction of microbes. Next, which of the following test is used for detecting urobilin in urine? Which of the following test is used for detecting urobilin in urine? Option A, Ehrlich test. Option B, Hunter test. Option C, Smith's test. Option D, Hart's test. Which of the following test is used for detecting urobilin in urine? Option A, Ehrlich test. Option A, Ehrlich test. Ehrlich test is used for detecting urobilin in urine. Next, in pulmonary edema sputum is option A, viscous, option B, purulent, option C, frothy, option D, both A and B. In pulmonary edema, sputum is frothy. Next, bile salts are made in the liver from cholesterol and they help in the dash absorption. Bile salts are made in the liver from cholesterol and they help in the dash absorption. Option A proteins, option B vitamins, option C carbohydrate, option D fat. Option D fat. Bile salts are made in the liver from cholesterol and they help in the fat absorption. Next, presence of blood in urine is known as option A hemoglobinuria, option B hematuria, option C polyuria, option D anuria. Option B hematuria. Presence of blood in urine is known as hematuria. Presence of blood in urine is known as hematuria. Next, the skull of human is composed of two sets of bones, which are option A cranial and facial, option B facial and hyoid, option C cranial and ear ossicles, option D facial and ear ossicle. The correct answer is option A cranial and facial. The skull of human is composed of two sets of bones which are cranial and facial. Next, in specific gravity method of hemoglobin determination in blood bank reagent used is option A copper sulfate, option B magnesium sulfate, option C copper acetate, option D zinc sulfate. In specific gravity method of hemoglobin determination in blood bank reagent used is option A copper sulfate, option B magnesium sulfate, option C copper acetate, option D zinc sulfate. The correct answer is option A copper sulfate. In specific gravity method of hemoglobin determination in blood bank reagent used is copper sulfate. Next, preferred site for arterial puncture is option A radial artery, option B ulnar artery, option C aorta, option D jugular artery. Preferred site for arterial puncture is option A radial artery. Preferred site for arterial puncture is option A radial artery. Next, detergents clean surfaces on the principle of option A viscosity, option B surface tension, option C elasticity, option D flotation. Detergents clean the surface on the principle of surface tension. Detergents clean surfaces on the principle of surface tension. Next, the chemical behavior of an atom depends upon option A the number of protons in the nucleus, option B the number of neutrons in the nucleus? Option C. The number of electrons orbiting around the nucleus. Option D. The number of nucleons in the nucleus. The chemical behavior of an atom depends upon option C. The number of electrons orbiting around the nucleus. The chemical behavior of an atom depends upon the number of electrons orbiting around the nucleus. Next, which one of the following is extensively used for sterilizing water? Which one of the following is extensively used for sterilizing water? Option A. Bleaching powder. Option B. Alum. Option C. Borax powder. Option D. Soda powder. Option A. Bleaching powder. Bleaching powder is extensively used for sterilizing water. Next, what material is used to make electric heater coil? What material is used to make electric heater coil? Option A. Copper. Option B. Iron. Option C. Silver. Option D. Nickel. Option D. Nickel. Nichrome is used to make electric heater coil. Nichrome is used to make electric heater coil. Next, water can be separated from alcohol-water mixture by. Water can be separated from alcohol-water mixture by. Option A. Decantation. Option B. Evaporation. Option C. Fractional distillation. Option D. Sublimation. Water can be separated from alcohol-water mixture by option C. Fractional distillation. Water can be separated from alcohol-water mixture by option C. Fractional distillation. 31. Which of the following factors affect the rate of chemical reaction? Which of the following factors affect the rate of chemical reaction? Option A. Concentration of reactants. Option B. Temperature. Option C. Catalyst. Option D. All the above. Which of the following factors affect the rate of chemical reaction? Answer: all the above. Which of the following factors affect the rate of chemical reaction? Answer: all the above. Concentration of reactants, temperature, catalyst. 32. Helium gas is filled in balloons because helium gas is filled in balloons because option A, its atomic number is 12. Option B, it is lighter than air. Option C, it is one of the constituent of water. Option D, it is a noble gas. Helium gas is filled in balloons because option B, it is lighter than air. Helium gas is filled in balloons because it is lighter than air. (33) The metal extracted from bauxite is option A, silver, option B, copper, option C, manganese, option D, aluminium. The metal extracted from bauxite is option D, aluminium. The metal extracted from bauxite is aluminium. A passenger standing in a bus is thrown outward when the bus takes a sudden turn happens due to. A passenger standing in a bus is thrown outward when the bus takes a sudden turn happens due to. Option A, outward pull on him. Option B, inertia of motion. Option C, change in momentum. Option D, change in acceleration. A passenger standing in a bus is thrown outward when that bus takes a sudden turn happens due to. Option B, inertia of motion. Inertia of motion. A passenger standing in a bus is thrown outward when the bus takes a sudden turn happens due to inertia of motion. Next, magnetism in materials is due to. Magnetism in materials is due to. Option A, electrons at rest. Option B, circular motion of electrons. Option C, protons at rest. Option D, all neutrons at rest. Magnetism in materials is due to. Option B, circular motion of electrons. Magnetism in materials is due to circular motion of electrons. Next, in a photocell, light energy is converted into. In a photocell, light energy is converted into. Option A, potential energy. Option B, chemical energy. Option C, heat energy. Option D, electrical energy. In a photocell, light energy is converted into. Option D, electrical energy. Next, which of the following is optical illusion? Which of the following is optical illusion? Option A, rainbow. Option B, earthshine. Option C, halo. Option D, mirage. Which of the following is optical illusion? Option D, mirage. Mirage is an optical illusion. Next, the slope of velocity time graph represent. The slope of a velocity time graph represent. Option A, acceleration. Option B, displacement. Option C, distance. Option D, speed. The slope of a velocity time graph represents. Option A, acceleration. The slope of a velocity time graph represents acceleration. Next, oil rises up the wick in a lamp because. Oil rises up the wick in a lamp because. Option A, oil is very light. Option B, of the diffusion of oil through the wick. Option C, of the surface tension phenomenon. Option D, of the capillary action phenomenon. Oil rises up the wick in a lamp because. Option D, of the capillary action phenomenon. Oil rises up the wick in a lamp because of the capillary action phenomenon. Oil rises up the wick in a lamp because of the capillary action phenomenon. Next, the spokes used in the wheel of a bicycle increases its. The spokes used in the wheel of a bicycle increases its. Option A, moment of inertia. Option B, velocity. Option C, acceleration. Option D, momentum. The spokes used in the wheel of a bicycle increases its. Option A, moment of inertia. The spokes used in the wheel of a bicycle increases its moment of inertia. Next, moving electric charge produces. Moving electric charge produces. Option A, magnetic field. Option B, sound waves. Option C, light rays. Option D, air waves. Moving electric charge produces. Option A, magnetic field. Moving electric charge produces magnetic field. Next, the urine is. Option A, hypotonic to blood and isotonic to medullary fluid. Option B, hypertonic to blood and isotonic to medullary fluid. Option C, isotonic to blood and hypotonic to medullary fluid. Option D, isotonic to blood and hypertonic to medullary fluid. The urine is hypertonic to blood and isotonic to medullary fluid. The urine is hypertonic to blood and isotonic to medullary fluid. It is hypertonic to blood and isotonic to medullary fluid. Hypertonic to blood and isotonic to medullary fluid. Next, which cartilage is present at the end of long bones? Which cartilage is present at the end of long bones? Option A, calcified cartilage. Option B, hyaline cartilage. Option C, elastic cartilage. Option D, fibrous cartilage. Which cartilage is present at the end of long bones? Option B, hyaline cartilage. Which of the cartilage is present at the end of a long bones? Option B, hyaline cartilage. Hyaline cartilage is present at the end of long bones. Next, hormones involved in carbohydrate metabolism are. Hormones involved in carbohydrate metabolism are. Option A, insulin, glucagon, epinephrine, PTH. Option B, insulin, glucagon, epinephrine, glucocorticoids. Option C, insulin, glucagon, calcitonin, glucocorticoids. Option D, insulin, glucagon, epinephrine, melatonin. Answer option B, insulin, glucagon, epinephrine, glucocorticoids. Hormones involved in carbohydrate metabolism are. Hormones involved in carbohydrate metabolism are insulin, glucagon, epinephrine, glucocorticoids. Insulin, glucagon, epinephrine, glucocorticoids are the hormones involved in carbohydrate metabolism. Next, when both ovaries of human are removed, then which hormone is decreased in blood? When both ovaries of human are removed, then which hormone is decreased in blood? Option A, oxytocin. Option B, prolactin. Option C, estrogen. Option D, gonadotropin releasing factor. When both ovaries of human are removed, then which hormone is decreased in blood? Is option C, estrogen. When both ovaries of human are removed, then which hormone is decreased in blood? Option C, estrogen. Question number 1. Most stable form of carbon. Most stable form of carbon. Option A, graphite. Option B, diamond. Option C, graphene. Option D, fullerene. Most stable form of carbon. Option A, graphite. Most stable form of carbon is graphite. Chemical name of wood spirit. Chemical name of wood spirit. Option A, methanol. Option B, ethanol. Option C, butanol. Option D, nitinol. Chemical name of wood spirit. Option A, methanol. Chemical name of wood spirit is methanol. Chemical name of bleaching powder is option A, calcium chloride, option B, calcium hypochlorite, option C, calcium chlorohypochlorite, option D, calcium bichloride. Chemical name of bleaching powder is option B, calcium hypochlorite. Chemical name of bleaching powder is calcium hypochlorite. Next, what is the total magnification if the eyepiece is 10x and objective lens is 40x? What is the total magnification if the eyepiece is 10x and objective lens is 40x? Option A, 50 times bigger. Option B, 40 times bigger. Option C, 500 times bigger. Option D, 400 times bigger. The correct answer is option D, 400 times bigger. What is the total magnification if the eyepiece is 10x and objective lens is 40x? Then answer is 400 times bigger. Next, the test used to detect CSF protein. The test used to detect CSF protein. Option A, Pandy's test. Option B, Hayes test. Option C, Hart's test. Option D, Smith's test. The test used to detect CSF protein. Option A, Pandy's test. The test used to detect CSF protein, Pandy's test. First antibody secreted by the adaptive immune system in response to a foreign antigen. First antibody secreted by the adaptive immune system in response to a foreign body. Option A, IgG. Option B, IgM. Option C, IgE. Option D, IgA. First antibody secreted by the adaptive immune system in response to a foreign antigen. Option B, IgM. IgM is the first antibody secreted by the adaptive immune system in response to a foreign antigen. Which of the following is used for cutting frozen sections? Which of the following is used for cutting frozen sections? Option A, rocking microtome. Option B, cryostat. Option C, rotary microtome. Option D, vibrating microtome. Which of the following is used for cutting frozen sections? Option B, cryostat. Cryostat is used for cutting frozen sections. Next, cell known as young or juvenile RBC. Cell known as young or juvenile RBC. Option A, orthochromatic pneumoblast. Option B, reticulocytes. Option C, polychromatic pneumoblast. Option D, none of these. Cell known as young or juvenile RBC is reticulocytes. Reticulocytes known as young or juvenile RBC. Next question. Nuclear stain used in routine histopathology examination. Nuclear stain used in routine histopathology examination. Option A, hemotoxylin. Option B, eosin. Option C, methylene blue. Option D, Bismarck brown. Nuclear stain used in routine histopathology examination. Option A, hemotoxylin. Hemotoxylin is used as nuclear stain in routine histopathology examination. Next, normal blood cholesterol level. Normal blood cholesterol level. Option A, 150 to 200. Option B, 250 to 300. Option C, 250 to 280. Option D, 270 to 300. Normal blood cholesterol level is 150 to 200. Normal blood cholesterol level is 150 to 200. 11th question. Volume of ACD solution used to collect 100 ml of blood. Volume of ACD solution used to collect 100 ml of blood is option A, 50 ml. Option B 20 ml. Option C 35 ml. Option D 25 ml. Volume of ACD solution used to collect 100 ml of blood is option A 50 ml. Volume of ACD solution used to collect 100 ml of blood is 15 ml. Next, Niemann-Pick disorder is due to disturbance in. Niemann-Pick disorder is due to disturbance in option A lipid metabolism, option B carbohydrate metabolism, option C protein metabolism, option D mineral metabolism. Niemann-Pick disorder is due to disturbance in option A lipid metabolism. Niemann-Pick disorder is due to disturbance in lipid metabolism. Next question. Color of neutrophil granules under Leishman staining. Color of neutrophil granules under Leishman staining. Option A pink, option B red, option C orange, option D lilac. Color of neutrophil granules under Leishman staining. Option D lilac. Color of neutrophil granules under Leishman staining. Option D lilac. Next, which hormone enhances cholesterol synthesis? Which hormone enhances cholesterol synthesis? Option A thyroxine, option B insulin, option C epinephrine, option D glucagon. Which hormone enhances cholesterol synthesis? The answer is option A thyroxine. Which hormone enhances cholesterol synthesis? Thyroxine hormone enhances cholesterol synthesis. Next question. Depth of Futz-Rosenthal counting chamber is counting chamber is option A 0.01, option B 0.2, option C 0.1, option D 0.4. Answer is option B 0.2. Depth of Futz-Rosenthal counting chamber is 0.2. Next, aerobic bacteria that require low oxygen tension to grow is known as option A obligate anaerobics, option B facultative anaerobes, option C microaerophilic, option D carboxyphilic. Aerobic bacteria that require low oxygen tension to grow is known as option C microaerophilic. Aerobic bacteria that require low oxygen tension to grow is known as option C microaerophilic. Who discovered and described the blood groups classification? Who discovered and described the blood groups ABO classification? Option A Karl Landsteiner, option B Otto Warburg, option C Karl Hooper, option D none. Karl Landsteiner. Karl Landsteiner discovered and described the blood groups ABO classification. Next, concentration of saline used in blood bank. Concentration of saline used in blood bank. Option A 0.85% NaCl. Option B 2.95% NaCl. Option C 2% NaCl. Option C 0.17% NaCl. Concentration of saline used in blood bank is 0.85% NaCl. 0.87% NaCl. An emulsion is a colloid of option A gas in a liquid, liquid in liquid, C liquid in gas, option D gas in solid. An emulsion is a colloid of option B liquid in liquid. An emulsion is a colloid of liquid in liquid. An emulsion is a colloid of liquid in liquid. Next, which of those immunoglobulin classes is mainly found in external secretions? Which of those immunoglobulin classes is mainly found in external secretions? Option A IgA, option B IgM, option C IgD, option D IgE. Option A IgA. A compound that acts as both reducing and oxidizing agent is A compound that acts both reducing and oxidizing agent is option A H2SO4, option B H2O2, option C KMnO4, option D none of these. A compound that acts as both reducing and oxidizing agent is option B H2O2. H2O2 acts as both reducing and oxidizing agent. Next question. Which of the following is used as preservative for foodstuff? Which of the following is used as preservative for foodstuff? Option A sodium benzoate, option B glycerin, option C picric acid, option D boric acid. Which of the following is used as preservative for foodstuff? Option A sodium benzoate. Sodium benzoate is used as preservative for foodstuff. Which of the following state is not formed during sublimation? Which of the following state is not formed during sublimation? Option A liquid, option B gas, option C solid, option D none of these. Which of the following state is not formed during sublimation is liquid. Nitric acid is produced by option A Solvay process, option B Contact process, option C Oswald process, option D chloralkali process. Nitric acid is produced by option C Oswald process. Nitric acid is produced by Oswald process. Next, synthetic human hair wings are made from a copolymer of vinyl chloride and acrylonitrile and is known as option A polyacrylonitrile, option B cellulose, option C PVC, option D dinyl. Synthetic human hair wings are made from a copolymer of vinyl chloride and acrylonitrile and is known as option D dinyl. Synthetic human hair wings are made from a copolymer of vinyl chloride and acrylonitrile and is known as dinyl. Next, Hall's method is used to stain. Hall's method is used to stain option A melanin, option B malarial pigment, option C lipofuscin, option D bilirubin. Hall's method is used to stain option D bilirubin. Option D bilirubin. Hall's method is used to stain bilirubin. Next, Bachman's skin test is used for. Bachman's skin test is used for option A hydatid disease, option B trichinosis, option C tiniasis, option D trichuriasis. Bachman's skin test is used for option B trichinosis. Bachman's skin test is used for trichinosis. Next, test for the detection of bile pigment in urine is option A Fauchett's test, option B Hayes test, option C Rothera's test, option D Benedict's test. Test for the detection of bile pigment in urine is option A Fauchett's test. Test for the detection of bile pigment in urine is Fauchett's test. Next, lipid from tissues are transported to liver by option A LDL, option B HDL, option C VLDL, option D IDL. Lipid from tissues are transported to liver by option B HDL. Lipid from tissues are transported to liver by HDL. Which of the following is a gram-negative bacilli? Which of the following is a gram-negative bacilli? Option A Streptococcus, option B E. coli, option C Clostridium tetani, option D Diphtheria bacilli. Which of the following is a gram-negative bacilli? Option B E. coli. E. coli is a gram-negative bacilli. Next, capsule of Cryptococcus is demonstrated using Capsule of Cryptococcus is demonstrated using option A. Grams iodine, option B. India ink, option C. LPCB, option D. Leishman stain. Capsule of Cryptococcus is demonstrated using option B. India ink. Capsule of Cryptococcus is demonstrated using India ink. Next question. Bacteria growing at temperature below 20 degrees Celsius are known as option A. Mesophiles, option B. Thermophiles, option C. Psychrophiles, option D. Capnophiles. Bacteria growing at temperature below 20 degrees Celsius are known as option C. Psychrophiles. Bacteria growing at temperature below 20 degrees Celsius are known as psychrophiles. Next, a suction device used to drop liquid. A suction device used to drop liquid. Option A. Volumetric flask. Option B. Beaker. Option C. Graduated cylinder. Option D. Safety bulb. A suction device used to draw up liquid is option D. Safety bulb. A suction device used to draw up liquid, safety bulb. Option D. Safety bulb. Next question. Culture method prepared by flooding the surface of culture plate with a liquid culture or suspension of bacterium by pipetting of the excess inoculum and incubating the plate. Culture method prepared by flooding the surface of culture plate with a liquid culture or suspension of bacterium by pipetting of the excess inoculum and incubating the plate. Option A. Stroke culture. Option B. Lawn culture. Option C. Stad culture. Option D. Streak culture. The answer is option B. Lawn culture. Culture method prepared by flooding the surface of culture plate with a liquid culture or suspension of bacterium by pipetting of the excess inoculum and incubating the plate is lawn culture. Platelet concentrates are often used to treat. Platelet concentrates are often used to treat. Option A. Thrombocytopenia. Option B. Hemolytic anemia. Option C. Multiple myeloma. Option D. None of these. The platelet concentrates are often used to treat. Option A. Thrombocytopenia. Thrombocytopenia. Platelet concentrates are often used to treat thrombocytopenia. Minimum time duration for bone decalcification. Minimum time duration for bone decalcification. Option A. 24 hours. Option B. 12 hours. Option C. 72 hours. Option D. 8 hours. Minimum time duration for bone decalcification. Option A. 24 hours. Minimum time duration for bone decalcification. Option A. 24 hours. Next, cross infection occurring in hospital is known as option A. Focal infection. Option B. Subclinical infection. Option C. Nosocomial infection. Option D. None of these. Cross infection occurring in hospital is known as option C. Nosocomial infection. Nosocomial infection. Cross infection occurring in hospital is known as nosocomial infection. Next, which of the following enzyme is a sensitive marker of alcoholic liver disease? Which of the following enzyme is a sensitive marker of alcoholic liver disease? Option A. Alkaline phosphatase. Option B. Alanine transaminase. Option C. Aspartate transaminase. Option D. Gamma glutamine transferase. Option D. Gamma glutamine transferase. Which of the following enzyme is a sensitive marker of alcoholic liver disease? Gamma glutamine transferase. Stain used in electron microscopy sections. Stain used in electron microscopy sections. Option A. Mercury chloride. Option B. Silver nitrate. Option C. Gold chloride. Option D. Uranyl acetate. Stain used in electron microscopy section. Option D. Uranyl acetate. Uranyl acetate. Stain used in electron microscopy sections. Uranyl acetate. Next, test used to detect Salmonella typhimurium. Test used to detect Salmonella typhimurium. Option A. Ames test. Option B. Carini test. Option C. Histidine test. Option D. Weil Felix test. Test used to detect Salmonella typhimurium. Option A. Ames test. Next, factor that affects blood collection includes. Factor that affects blood collection includes. Option A. Angle of needle. Option B. Posture. Option C. Tourniquet application. Option D. All the above. Answer: all the above. Factor that affects blood collection includes all the above: angle of needle, posture, tourniquet application. Next, most important function of platelets. Most important function of platelets. Option A. Phagocytosis. Option B. Oxygen transport. Option C. Blood coagulation. Option D. Bilirubin transport. Most important function of platelet is option C, blood coagulation. Most important function of platelet, blood coagulation. Next question. Volume of oxygen carried by 1 gram hemoglobin. Volume of oxygen carried by 1 gram hemoglobin. Option A 1.34 liter. Option B 1.39 milliliter. Option C 0.34 ml. Option D 100 ml. Volume of oxygen carried by 1 gram hemoglobin. Option B 1.39 ml. 1.39 ml. Volume of oxygen carried by 1 gram hemoglobin 1.39 ml. On standing, pH of urine. Option A increases. Option B decreases. Option C remains same. Option D becomes neutral. On standing, pH of urine increases. On standing, pH of urine increases. Most specific renal parameter is dash. Option A urea, option B creatinine, option C sodium, option D SGPT. Most specific renal parameter is option B creatinine. Most specific renal parameter is creatinine. Next question. The ciliate parasite of humans is option A Endamoeba gingivalis, option B Nigleria fowleri, option C Balandidium coli, option D none of these. The ciliate parasite of humans is option C Balandidium coli. The ciliate parasite of humans is Balandidium coli. The last question. The hormone which is produced by kidney for the synthesis of RBC. The hormone which is produced by kidney for the synthesis of RBC. Option A renin, option B pepsin, option C urea, option D erythropoietin. The answer is option D erythropoietin. The hormone which is produced by kidney for the synthesis of RBC, erythropoietin. First question. Organelle known as powerhouse of the cell. Organelle known as powerhouse of the cell. Option A ribosome. Option B lysosome. Option C mitochondria. Option D centrioles. Organelle known as powerhouse of the cell. Option C mitochondria. Organelle known as powerhouse of the cell, mitochondria. Mitochondria is known as powerhouse of the cell. Next, the only neurocrine gland in human body. The only neurocrine gland in human body. Option A, hypothalamus. Option B, adrenal gland. Option C, thymus gland. Option D, thyroid gland. The only neurocrine gland in human body is hypothalamus. The only neurocrine gland in human body is hypothalamus. Next, which of the following phylum shows asymmetry? Which of the following phylum shows asymmetry? Option A, Ctenophora. Option B, Coelenterata. Option C, Platyhelminthes. Option D, Porifera. Which of the following phylum shows asymmetry? Option D, Porifera. Which of the following phylum shows asymmetry? Porifera. Next, plasma protein which helps in the clotting of blood. Plasma protein which helps in the clotting of blood. Option A, fibrinogen. Option B, albumin. Option C, globulin. Option D, none of these. Plasma protein which helps in the clotting of blood. Option A, fibrinogen. Plasma protein which helps in the clotting of blood. Option A, fibrinogen. Next, largest lymphatic organ. Largest lymphatic organ. Option A, adenoids. Option B, tonsils. Option C, spleen. Option D, thymus. Largest lymphatic organ is option C, spleen. Largest lymphatic organ, spleen. Next, organ known as chemical lab of human body. Organ known as chemical lab of human body. Option A, kidney. Option B, liver. Option C, pancreas. Option D, none of these. Organ known as chemical lab of human body. Answer, option B, liver. Organ known as chemical lab of human body is liver. Next, the gene which was used to produce insect-resistant cotton plant was taken from. The gene which was used to produce insect-resistant cotton plant was taken from. Option A, Bacillus subtilis. Option B, Bacillus thuringiensis. Option C, Anabaena azolla. Option D, Agrobacterium tumefaciens. The gene which was used to produce insect-resistant cotton plant was taken from. Option B, Bacillus thuringiensis. Option B, Bacillus thuringiensis. The gene which was used to produce insect-resistant cotton plant was taken from Bacillus thuringiensis. The pyramid of energy which is always upright states that. The pyramid of energy which is always upright states that. Option A, the energy conversion efficiency of herbivores is better than carnivores. Option B, the energy conversion efficiency of carnivores is better than herbivores. Option C, producers have the lowest energy conversion efficiency. Option D, energy conversion efficiency is same in all trophic levels. The pyramid of energy which is always upright states that the energy conversion efficiency of herbivores is better than carnivores. The pyramid of energy which is always upright states that the energy conversion efficiency of herbivores is better than carnivores. For artificial hybridization in bisexual flower, which of the sequence is correct? For artificial hybridization in bisexual flower, which of the sequence is correct? Option A, self-pollination, bagging, emasculation, rebagging. B, cross-pollination, bagging, emasculation, rebagging. Option C, emasculation, bagging, cross-pollination, rebagging. Option D, bagging, emasculation, cross-pollination, rebagging. For artificial hybridization in bisexual flower, which of the sequence is correct? Option C, emasculation, bagging, cross-pollination, rebagging. Emasculation, bagging, cross-pollination, rebagging. The smallest value which is measured using an instrument is known as the smallest value which is measured using an instrument is known as option A, least count, option B, minimum count, option C, absolute count, option D, round off value. The smallest value which is measured using an instrument is known as option A, least count. The smallest value which is measured using an instrument is known as least count. Next, the iron needle slowly placed on the surface of water floats because option A, of its shape, option B, of surface tension, option C, density of needle is less than that of water, option D, none of these. The iron needle slowly placed on the surface of water floats because option B, of surface tension. The iron needle slowly placed on the surface of water floats because of surface tension. Next, if the length of a simple pendulum is halved, then its period of oscillation is option A, double, option B, half, option C, increased by a factor of 2, decreased by a factor of 2. If the length of a simple pendulum is half, then its period of oscillation is option D, decreased by a factor of 2. If the length of a simple pendulum is half, then its period of oscillation is decreased by a factor of 2. Next, Newton's first law of motion gives the concept of energy, work, momentum, inertia. Newton's first law of motion gives the concept of option D, inertia. Newton's first law of motion gives the concept of inertia. Next, heat cannot by itself flow from a body at lower temperature to a body at a higher temperature is a statement of heat cannot by itself flow from a body at a lower temperature to a body at a higher temperature is a statement of option A, first law of thermodynamics, option B, second law of thermodynamics, option C, conservation of momentum, option D, conservation of mass. Heat cannot by itself flow from a body at lower temperature to a body at a higher temperature is a statement of option B, second law of thermodynamics. Second law of thermodynamics. Heat cannot by itself flow from a body at lower temperature to a body at higher temperature is a statement of second law of thermodynamics. Water waves produced by a motorboat in water are option A, only longitudinal, option B, only transverse, option C, neither longitudinal nor transverse, option D, both longitudinal and transverse. Water waves produced by a motorboat in water are option D, both longitudinal and transverse. Water waves produced by a motorboat in water are both longitudinal and transverse. Next, capacitor plates are separated by an insulator known as option A, paper, option B, wood, option C, dielectric, option D, non-metal. Capacitor plates are separated by an insulator known as dielectric. Capacitor plates are separated by an insulator known as dielectric. Next, eddy currents are used in option A, electromagnetic brakes, option B, induction furnace, option C, speedometer, option D, all of these. Eddy currents are used in option D, all of these. Eddy currents are used in electromagnetic brakes, induction furnace and speedometer. Eddy currents are used in electromagnetic brakes, induction furnace and speedometer. Next, which of the following controls the current in a Zener diode? Which of the following controls the current in a Zener diode? Option A, potential barrier. Option B, external circuits. Option C, Zener diode resistance. Option D, none of these. Which of the following controls the current in a Zener diode? Option B, external circuits. Which of the following controls the current in a Zener diode? Option B, external circuits. Next, protective membrane which envelops brain and spinal cord. Protective membrane which envelops brain and spinal cord. Option A, pleura. Option B, pericardium. Option C, meninges. Option D, none of these. Protective membrane which envelops brain and spinal cord. Option C, meninges. Protective membrane which envelops brain and spinal cord, meninges. The largest vein in human body. The largest vein in human body. Option A, inferior vena cava. Option B, aorta. Option C, superior vena cava. Option D, none of these. The largest vein in human body is option A, inferior vena cava. The largest vein in human body, inferior vena cava. Next, function of parathormones in human body. Function of parathormone in human body. Option A, decrease blood calcium level. Option B, decrease blood glucose level. Option C, increase blood calcium level. Option D, increases blood sodium level. Function of parathormone in human body. Option C, increases blood calcium level. Function of parathormone in human body, increases blood calcium level. Next, the second largest phylum which includes soft-bodied and shelled animals. The second largest phylum which includes soft-bodied and shelled animals. Option A, Annelida. Option B, Mollusca. Option C, Arthropoda. Option D, Coelenterata. The second largest phylum which includes soft-bodied and shelled animals. Option B, Mollusca. The second largest phylum which includes soft-bodied and shelled animals. Mollusca. The middle layer of pericarp is known as option A, epicarp, B, mesocarp, C, endocarp, D, hypocarp. The middle layer of pericarp is known as option B, mesocarp. The middle layer of pericarp is known as mesocarp. Next, excretory organ of phylum Annelida. Excretory organ of phylum Annelida. Option A, nephridia. Option B, Malpighian tubes. Option C, radula. Option D, hyposta. Excretory organ of phylum Annelida is option A, nephridia. Excretory organ of phylum Annelida is nephridia. Next, interval between mitosis and initiation of DNA replication is known as interval between mitosis and initiation of DNA replication is known as option A, S phase, option B, G1 phase, option C, G2 phase, option D, none of these. The interval between mitosis and initiation of DNA replication is known as option B, G1 phase. Interval between mitosis and initiation of DNA replication is known as G1 phase. Next, Which of the following is not a Mendelian disorder? Which of the following is not a Mendelian disorder? Option A, cystic fibrosis. Option B, phenylketonuria. Option C, osteomalacia. Option D, thalassemia. Which of the following is not a Mendelian disorder? Option C, osteomalacia. Which of the following is not a Mendelian disorder? Osteomalacia. Next, in a pyramid of energy, base of the pyramid represents. In a pyramid of energy, base of the pyramid represents. Option A, producer. Option B, primary consumer. Option C, secondary consumer. Option D, tertiary consumer. In a pyramid of energy, base of the pyramid represents. Option A, producer. In a pyramid of energy, base of the pyramid represents producer. Next, an oil drop spreads over water because option A, oil is lighter than water. Option B, oil is more viscous. Option C, oil does not mix with the water. Option D, surface tension of oil is much less than that of water. An oil drop spreads over water because option D, surface tension of oil is much less than that of water. An oil drop spreads over water because surface tension of oil is much less than that of water. Law that explains the working of hydraulic brakes in automobiles. Law that explains the working of hydraulic brakes in automobiles. Option A, Pascal's law. Option B, Coulomb's law. Option C, Ohm's law. Option D, Newton's law. Law that explains the working of hydraulic brakes in automobiles. Option A, Pascal's law. Law that explains the working of hydraulic brakes in automobiles is Pascal's law. Next, type of energy stored in a wound spring. Type of energy stored in a wound spring. Option A, kinetic energy. Option B, potential energy. Option C, chemical energy. Option D, heat energy. Type of energy stored in a wound spring is potential energy. Option B, potential energy. Type of energy stored in a wound spring, potential energy. Next, number of valence electrons in a semiconductor. Number of valence electrons in a semiconductor. Option A, 3. Option B, 4. Option C, 5. Option D, 6. Number of valence electrons in a semiconductor is option B, 4. Number of valence electrons in a semiconductor is 4. Next, the phenomenon of light associated with the appearance of blue color of sky is. The phenomenon of light associated with the appearance of blue color of sky is option A, interference. Option B, reflection. Option C, scattering. Option D, refraction. The phenomenon of light associated with the appearance of blue color of sky is option C, scattering. The phenomenon of light associated with the appearance of blue color of sky is scattering. Next, electromagnetic wave with maximum wavelength. Electromagnetic wave with the maximum wavelength. Option A, microwaves. Option B, radio waves. Option C, gamma rays. Option D, X-rays. Electromagnetic wave with maximum wavelength. Option B, radio waves. Electromagnetic wave with maximum wavelength. Option B, radio waves. Next, the slope of velocity time graph gives. The slope of velocity time graph gives option A, acceleration. Option B, displacement. Option C, speed. Option D, none of these. The slope of velocity time graph gives option A, acceleration. The slope of velocity time graph gives acceleration. Next question. A type of thermodynamic process that occurs without transferring heat or mass between the thermodynamic system and its surroundings. A type of thermodynamic process that occurs without transferring heat or mass between the thermodynamic system and its surroundings. Option A, closed system. Option B, isolated system. Option C, open system. Option D, adiabatic system. A type of thermodynamic process that occurs without transferring heat or mass between the thermodynamic system and its surroundings. Option D, adiabatic system. A type of thermodynamic process that occurs without transferring heat or mass between the thermodynamic system and its surroundings is adiabatic system. Next, the highest velocity attainable by an object as it falls through air is known as option A, terminal velocity, option B, escape velocity, option C, uniform velocity, option D, variable velocity. The highest velocity attainable by an object as it falls through air is known as option A, terminal velocity. The highest velocity attainable by an object as it falls through air is known as terminal velocity. Next, the plum pudding model is a model of atomic structure proposed by option A. J. Thomson, option B. John Dalton, option C. Niels Bohr, option D. Rutherford. The plum pudding model is a model of atomic structure proposed by option A. J. Thomson. The plum pudding model is a model of atomic structure proposed by J. Thomson. Elements of group 13 to 18 are called option A, D block elements, B, S block elements, C, P block elements, D, none of these. Elements of group 13 to 18 are called option C, P block elements. Elements of group 13 to 18 are called P block elements. Next, temporary hardness of water can be removed by option A, boiling, option B, adding lime, option C, both A and B, option D, A only. The temporary hardness of water can be removed by option C, both A and B. Temporary hardness of water can be removed by boiling and adding lime. Temporary hardness of water can be removed by boiling and adding lime. The last question. Ammonia is produced by option A, contact process, option B, Haber process, option C, Dow process, option D, Downs process. Ammonia is produced by option B, Haber process. Ammonia is produced by Haber process. Question number 1. Point of contact where one neuron communicates with another. Point of contact where one neuron communicates with another. Option A, axon. Option B, dendrites. Option C, synapse. Option D, cytone. The point of contact where one neuron communicates with another. The correct answer is option C, synapse. Point of contact where one neuron communicates with another is synapse. Next question. Vitamin required for blood clotting. Vitamin required for blood clotting. Option A, vitamin A. Option B, vitamin K. Option C, vitamin D. Option D, vitamin C. Vitamin required for blood clotting is vitamin K. Vitamin required for blood clotting is vitamin K. Which of the following statement is true about IgE in humans? Which of the following statement is true about IgE in humans? Option A. Stimulation of mast cells related to allergic reaction. Option B. Protection of body fluids. Option C. Protection of mucous membranes. Option D. Activation of B lymphocytes. Which of the following statement is true about IgE in humans? Correct answer option A. Stimulation of mast cells related to allergic reaction. Which of the following statement is true about IgE in humans? Correct answer. Stimulation of mast cells related to allergic reaction. Chromosomal disorder caused due to the presence of an additional copy of chromosome number 21. Chromosomal disorder caused due to the presence of an additional copy of chromosome number 21. Option A. Turner's syndrome. Option B. Klinefelter syndrome. Option C. Jacob syndrome. Option D. Down syndrome. The chromosomal disorder caused due to the presence of an additional copy of chromosome number 21 is option D. Down syndrome. Chromosomal disorder caused due to the presence of an additional copy of chromosome number 21 is Down syndrome. Which of the following does not belong to the phylum Mollusca? Which of the following doesn't belong to the phylum Mollusca? Option A. Octopus. Option B. Pila. Option C. Hydra. Option D. Chiton. Which of the following doesn't belong to the phylum Mollusca? The answer option C. Hydra. Hydra is not belong to phylum Mollusca. Scientists who first explained that cells divided and new cells are formed from pre-existing cells. Scientists who first explained that cells divided and new cells are formed from pre-existing cells. Option A. Robert Brown. Option B. Theodor Schwann. Option C. Rudolf Virchow. Option D. M.J. Schleiden. Scientists who first explained that cells divided and new cells are formed from pre-existing cell is option C. Rudolf Virchow. Scientists who first explained that cells divided and new cells are formed from pre-existing cell is Rudolf Virchow. Next, pollination between two flowers of same plant is known as pollination between two flowers of same plant is known as option A. Xenogamy, option B. Geitonogamy, option C. Autogamy, option D. Allogamy. Pollination between two flowers of same plant is known as geitonogamy. Option B. Geitonogamy. Pollination between two flowers of same plant is known as geitonogamy. Next, scientific method of rearing honeybees is known as scientific method of rearing honeybees is known as option A. Aquaculture, option B. Viniculture, option C. Apiculture, option D. Viticulture. Scientific method of rearing honeybees is known as option C. Apiculture. Scientific method of rearing honeybees is known as apiculture. Water Pollution Act was passed by Government of India in Water Pollution Act was passed by Government of India in option A 1984, option B 1982, option C 1974, option D 1972. Water Pollution Act was passed by Government of India in 1974. Answer option C 1974. Water Pollution Act was passed by Government of India in 1974. The formula to find maximum number of electrons in a shell is the formula to find maximum number of electrons in a shell is option A 2n raised to 2, n raised to 2, C 2n raised to 3, D n raised to 3. The formula to find maximum number of electrons in a shell is option A 2n raised to 2. The formula to find maximum number of electrons in a shell is 2n raised to 2. The compound of hydrogen used as bleaching agent is option A hydrogen sulfide, option B hydrogen bromide, option C hydrogen peroxide, option D none of these. The compound of hydrogen used as bleaching agent is option C hydrogen peroxide. The compound of hydrogen used as bleaching agent. The compound of hydrogen used as bleaching agent is hydrogen peroxide. Next, alkanes are represented by general formula. Alkanes are represented by general formula. Option A CnH2n plus 2, B CnH2n, C CHN plus 2. Option D CnH3n. Alkanes are represented by general formula CnH2n plus 2. Alkanes are represented by general formula CnH2n plus 2. Next, colloid which contains particles of liquid or solid dispersed in gas. Colloid which contains particles of liquid or solid dispersed in gas. Option A emulsion, option B aerosol, option C foam, option D none of these. Colloid which contains particles of liquid or solids dispersed in gas. The correct answer option B aerosol. Colloid which contains particles of liquid or solid dispersed in gas is aerosol. Next, acid used to identify the presence of protein. Acid used to identify the presence of protein. Option A carboxylic acid. Option B benzoic acid. Option C nitric acid. Option D phosphoric acid. The acid used to identify the presence of protein is option C nitric acid. Acid used to identify the presence of protein is nitric acid. Next, which of the following is not an antibiotic? Which of the following is not an antibiotic? Option A penicillin, option B aspirin, option C amoxicillin, option D ampicillin. Which of the following is not an antibiotic? Option B aspirin. Which of the following is not an antibiotic? Option B aspirin. Next, the polymer used in making plastic crockery. The polymer used in making plastic crockery. Option A Decron. Option B nylon. Option C bakelite. Option D melamine. The polymer used in making plastic crockery is option D melamine. The polymer used in making plastic crockery is melamine. Next, the selective boiling and subsequent condensation of a component in a liquid mixture is known as. The selective boiling and subsequent condensation of a component in a liquid mixture is known as option A distillation, option B crystallization, option C sublimation, option D none of these. The selective boiling and subsequent condensation of a component in a liquid mixture is known as option A distillation. The selective boiling and subsequent condensation of a component in a liquid mixture is known as distillation. Next, planetary model of atom was proposed by option A Max Planck, option B Rutherford, option C John Dalton, option D Niels Bohr. The answer is option B, Rutherford. Planetary model of atom was proposed by Rutherford. Planetary model of atom was proposed by Rutherford. Next question. The distribution of light energy when two or more light waves superimpose to each other is called. The distribution of light energy when two or more light waves superimpose to each other is called. Option A, interference. Option B, reflection. Option C, diffraction. Option D, diffraction. The distribution of light energy when two or more light waves superimpose to each other is called. Option A, interference. Interference. The distribution of light energy when two or more light waves superimpose to each other is called interference. Next. Length of Westergaard's ESR tube is. Length of Westergaard ESR tube is. Option A, 300 mm. Option B, 200 mm. Option C, 100 mm. Option D, 50 mm. Length of Westergaard ESR tube is. Option A, 300 mm. Length of Westergaard ESR tube is 300 mm. Next, power of lens is measured in. Power of lens is measured in. Option A, candela. Option B, diopter. Option C, ampere. Option D, none of these. Power of lens is measured in. Option B, diopter. Power of lens is measured in diopter. Next, a projectile travels the farthest when it is launched at an angle of. A projectile travels the farthest when it is launched at an angle of. Option A, 25 degree. Option B, 35 degree. Option C, 45 degree. Option D, 55 degree. A projectile travels the farthest when it is launched at an angle of. Option C, 45 degree. A projectile travels the farthest when it is launched at an angle of 45 degree. Law associated with the polarization of light. The law associated with the polarization of light is. Option A, Snell's law. Option B, Brewster's law. Option C, Newton's law. Option D, Pascal's law. The law associated with the polarization of light is. Option B, Brewster's law. The law associated with the polarization of light is Brewster's law. Next, a coil of insulated wire wound on a rod-shaped form made of solid iron is called. A coil of insulated wire wound on a rod-shaped form made of solid iron is called. Option A, toroid. Option B, paranoid. Option C, solenoid. Option D, sphenoid. A coil of insulated wire wound on a rod-shaped form made of solid iron is called. Option C, solenoid. A coil of insulated wires wound on a rod-shaped form made of a solid iron is called solenoid. Next, nuclear reactor was discovered by. Nuclear reactor was discovered by. Option A, Enrico Fermi. Option B, Henry Becquerel. Option C, Rutherford. Option D, Thomas Edison. Nuclear reactor was discovered by. Option A, Enrico Fermi. Nuclear reactor was discovered by Enrico Fermi. Next question. Bacteria possessing more than one flagellum at one or both the poles. Bacteria possessing more than one flagellum at one or both the poles. Option A, atricate. Option B, lophotricate. Option C, peritricate. Option D, monotricate. Bacteria possessing more than one flagellum at one or both the poles is option B, lophotricate. Lophotricate. Bacteria possessing more than one flagellum at one or both the ends is lophotricate. Next question. The Nielsen stain is also called option A Gram stain, option B capsular stain, option C Albert stain, option D acid fast stain. Cell Nielsen stain is also called option D acid fast staining. The Nielsen stain is also called acid fast stain. Next, culture method used for isolation of bacteria in pure culture from clinical specimen. Culture method used for isolation of bacteria in pure culture from clinical specimen. Option A, streak culture. Option B, lawn culture. Option C, stab culture. Option D, pour plate culture. Culture method used for isolation of bacteria in pure culture from clinical specimen. Option A, streak culture. Correct answer, option A, streak culture. Culture method used for isolation of bacteria in pure culture from clinical specimen is streak culture. Next, standard reference method for cholesterol estimation. Standard reference method for cholesterol estimation. Option A, CHOD, POD method. Option B, Zach's method. Option C, Abel-Kendall method. Option D, Sackett's method. The standard reference method for cholesterol estimation is option C, Abel and Kendall method. Standard reference method for cholesterol estimation is Abel and Kendall method. Next question. Commonly used microtome in laboratories. Commonly used microtome in laboratories. Option A, vibrating microtome. Option B, rotary microtome. Option C, cryostat. Option D, rocking microtome. Commonly used microtome in laboratories is option B, rotary microtome. Commonly used microtome in laboratories is rotary microtome. The most accurate and precise method for estimating protein is option A, Burette method. Option B, Geldel method. Option C, Lowry's method. Option D, spectrophotometric method. The most accurate and precise method for estimating protein is Geldel method. Option B, Geldel's method. The most accurate and precise method for estimating protein is Geldel's method. Next, storage of excess glucose as glycogen is known as option A, glycogenesis, option B, glycogenolysis, option C, glycolysis, option D, gluconeogenesis. The storage of excess glucose as glycogen is known as option A, glycogenesis. Storage of excess glucose as glycogen is known as glycogenesis. Next, fasting blood glucose less than dash is normal. Fasting blood glucose less than dash is normal. Option A 120, option B 110, option C 100, option D 130. Fasting blood glucose less than dash is normal. Option C 100. Fasting blood glucose less than 100 is normal. Frozen RBC can be stored up to Option A 5 years. Option B 2 years. Option C 10 years. Option D 20 years. Frozen RBC can be stored up to 10 years. Frozen RBC can be stored up to 10 years. Next, the chemical disinfectant Sidex is option A 2.4% glutaraldehyde, option B 70% isopropanol, option C 10% chlorohexidine, option D 5% phenol. The chemical disinfectant Sidex is option A 2.4% glutaraldehyde. The chemical disinfectant Sidex is 2.4% glutaraldehyde. Which of the following is not a liver function test? Which of the following is not a liver function test? Option A bilirubin, option B creatinine, option C albumin, option D alkaline phosphatase. Which of the following is not a liver function test? Option B creatinine. Which of the following is not a liver function test? Creatinine. Next, instrument used for measuring turbidity. Instrument used for measuring turbidity. Option A, potentiometer. Option B, cytometer. Option C, nephelometer. Option D, none of these. Instrument used for measuring turbidity. Option C, nephelometer. Instrument used for measuring turbidity is nephelometer. Next, which of the following is a RBC diluting fluid? Which of the following is a RBC diluting fluid? Option A, Dassy's fluid. Option B, Rees-Ecker solution. Option C, Turk's fluid. Option D, Hingelmann's fluid. Which of the following is a RBC diluting fluid? Option A, Dassy's fluid. Which of the following is a RBC diluting fluid? Dassy's fluid. Next, who introduced agar as a solidifying agent in culture media? Who introduced agar as a solidifying agent in culture media? Option A, Robert Koch. Option B, Hesse. Option C, Juliana Petri. Option D, Louis Pasteur. Who introduced agar as a solidifying agent in culture media? Option B, Hesse. Who introduced agar as a solidifying agent in culture media? Answer, Hesse. Next, color of fibers after silver nitrate staining. Color of fibers after silver nitrate staining is option A red, option B black, option C blue, option D pink. Color of fiber after silver nitrate stain is black. Option B black. Color of fiber after silver nitrate stain is black. Next, Allen's procedure is used for option A capillary blood collection, option B arterial blood collection, option C venous blood collection, option D urine collection. Allen's procedure is used for option B arterial blood collection. Allen's procedure is used for arterial blood collection. Next, ideal anticoagulant for hematology analysis. Ideal anticoagulant for hematology analysis. Option A, heparin. Option B, trisodium citrate. Option C, EDTA. Option D, double oxalate. Ideal anticoagulant for hematology analysis is EDTA. Option C, EDTA. Ideal anticoagulant for hematology analysis is EDTA. A hemogram is composed of option A number and size of cells, B size and shape of cells, C staining intensity of cells, option D none of these. A hemogram is composed of option A number and size of cells. A hemogram is composed of number and size of cells. Next, most urinometers are generally calibrated at dash temperature. Most urinometers are generally calibrated at dash temperature. Option A 30 degrees Celsius. Option B 15 degrees Celsius. Option C 20 degrees Celsius. Option D 40 degrees Celsius. Most urinometers are generally calibrated at option B 15 degrees Celsius. Most urinometers are generally calibrated at 15 degrees Celsius temperature. The last question. Reagent used in Kober reaction. Reagent used in Kober reaction. Option A met dinitrobenzene. Option B periodic acid. Option C nitrosonaphthol. Option D phenol. The reagent used in Kober reaction is option D phenol. Reagent used in Kober reaction is phenol. Reagent used in Kober reaction is phenol. First question. Who developed hydrogen bomb? Who developed hydrogen bomb? Option A. Werner von Braun. Option B. Robert Oppenheimer. Option C. Edward Teller. Option D. Samuel Cohen. Who developed hydrogen bomb? Option C. Edward Teller. Edward Teller developed hydrogen bomb. Second question. Aspirin is option A. Methoxybenzoic acid. Option B. Methyl salicylate. Option C. Acetyl salicylic acid. Option D. Phenyl salicylate. Aspirin is option C. Acetyl salicylic acid. Aspirin is acetyl salicylic acid. Aspirin is acetyl salicylic acid. Diamond is harder than graphite because of option A. Difference is layers of atoms. Option B. Hexahedral structure of diamond. Option C. Difference of crystalline structure. Option D. None of these. Diamond is harder than graphite because of option C. Difference of crystalline structure. Diamond is harder than graphite because of difference of crystalline structures. Diamond is harder than graphite because of difference of crystalline structures. Which of the following metals form an amalgam with the other metals? Option A lead, option B tin, option C zinc, option D mercury. Which of the following metals form an amalgam with the other metals is option D mercury. Which of the following metals form an amalgam with the other metal? Option D mercury. Water can be separated from alcohol water mixture by option A decantation, option B evaporation, option C fractional distillation, option D sublimation. Water can be separated from alcohol water mixture by option C fractional distillation. Water can be separated from alcohol water mixture by fractional distillation. Water can be separated from alcohol water mixture by fractional distillation. Detergents clean surface on the principle of option A viscosity, option B surface tension, option C elasticity, option D flotation. Detergents clean surface on the principle of surface tension. Detergents clean surface on the principle of surface tension. Detergents clean surface on the principle of surface tension. Zinc sulfide is commonly used as fungicide, option B herbicide, option C rodenticide, option D deodorant. Zinc sulfide is commonly used as option C rodenticide. Zinc sulfide is commonly used as rodenticide. Zinc sulfide is commonly used as rodenticide.
What can be the maximum number of electrons in a shell if principal quantum number is n? What can be the maximum number of electrons in a shell if principal quantum number is n? Option A n, option B n raised to 2, option C 2n raised to 2, option D 3n raised to 2. What can be the maximum number of electrons in a shell if principal quantum number is n? Answer option C 2n raised to 2. What can be the maximum number of electrons in a shell if principal quantum number is n? Answer 2n raised to 2. Which is the following metals causes Ithai disease? Which is the following metals causes Ithai disease? Option A cadmium, option B chromium, option C cobalt, option C copper. Which is the following metals causes Ithai disease is cadmium. Which is the following metals causes Ithai disease? Answer cadmium. Cadmium is the metal causes Ithai disease. Molasses, a byproduct in the manufacture of sugar, is converted. Option A alcohol, option B paper, option C fuel, option C pulp. Molasses, a byproduct in the manufacture of sugar, is converted to alcohol. Molasses, a byproduct in the manufacture of sugar, is converted to alcohol. Molasses, a byproduct in the manufacture of sugar, is converted to alcohol. What is the minimum escape velocity of rocket to be launched into space? What is the minimum escape velocity of rocket to be launched into space? Option A 5 km per second, option B 6.7 km per second, option C 11.2 km per second, option D 15 km per second. What is the minimum escape velocity of rocket to be launched into space? Answer option C 11.2 km per second. What is the minimum escape velocity rocket to be launched into space is 11.2 km per second. Which of the following is used for regulated electric supply? Option A Zener diode, option B junction diode, option C gun diode, option D tunnel diode. Which of the following is used for regulated electric supply? Answer Zener diode. Which of the following is used for regulated electric supply? Zener diode. Zener diode is used for regulated electric supply. Electron microscope was invented by option A Knoll and Ruska, B Robert Koch, C Leeuwenhoek, D C.P. Swanson. Electron microscope was invented by option A Knoll and Ruska. Electron microscope was invented by Knoll and Ruska. Electron microscope was invented by Knoll and Ruska. When pressure is increased, the melting point of ice becomes option A increases, option B does not change, option C decreases, option D depends on the impurities in the ice. When pressure is increased, the melting point of ice becomes option C decreases. When pressure is increased, the melting point of ice becomes decreases. When pressure is increased, the melting point of ice becomes decreases. When pressure is increased, the melting point of ice becomes decreases. A pond of water appears less deep due to option A reflection, option B diffraction, option C refraction, option D polarization. A pond of water appears less deep due to option C refraction. A pond of water appears less deep due to refraction. A pond of water appears less deep due to refraction. Smoke is a combination of option A air and water vapors, option B water and smoke, option C fire and water, option D smoke and fog. Smoke is a combination of smoke and fog. Option D smoke and fog. Smoke is a combination of smoke and fog. Smoke is a combination of smoke and fog. Which of the following principle is used to produce low temperatures? Option A, superconductivity. Option B, Joule-Kelvin effect. Option C, thermoelectric effect. Option D, adiabatic demagnetization. Which of the following principle is used to produce low temperature? Is option D, adiabatic demagnetization. Which of the following principle is used to produce low temperature? Answer, adiabatic demagnetization. Adiabatic demagnetization is used to produce low temperature. The frequency of ultrasound wave is typically option A about 20 kHz, option B about 20,000 kHz, option C 20 Hz, option D below 25 kHz. The frequency of ultrasound wave is typically option A about 20 kHz. The frequency of ultrasound wave is typically about 20 kHz. The frequency of ultrasound wave is typically about 20 kHz. Pure water is bad conductor of electricity because it is water is bad conductor of electricity because it is option A feebly ionized, option B not volatile, option C a very good solvent, option D a non-polar solvent. Pure water is bad conductor of electricity because it is a feebly ionized. Pure water is bad conductor of electricity because it is feebly ionized. Pure water is bad conductor of electricity because it is feebly ionized. Light beam which is highly directional is called option A eraser, option B grazer, option C master, option D laser. Light beam which is highly directional is called option D laser. Light beam which is highly directional is called laser. Which one of the system of man is affected by a bite of cobra snake? Which one of the system of man is affected by a bite of cobra snake? Option A digestive system, option B nervous system, option C excretory system, option D circulatory system. Which one of the system of man is affected by a bite of cobra snake is option B nervous system. Which one of the system of man is affected by a bite of cobra snake? Answer, nervous system. The system of man is affected by a bite of cobra snake is nervous system. Which plants generally lack vessels in their xylem? Which plants generally lack vessels in their xylem? Option A monocots, option B dicots, option C gymnosperms, option D angiosperms. Which plants generally lack vessels in their xylem is answer C gymnosperms. Which plants generally lacks vessels in their xylem is gymnosperms. Gymnosperms generally lack vessels in their xylem. Which hormone promotes cell division, protein synthesis and bone growth? Which hormone promotes cell division, protein synthesis and bone growth? Option A PTH, option B ADH, option C GH, option D ACTH. Which hormone promotes cell division, protein synthesis and bone growth is GH. Option C GH. Which hormone promotes cell division, protein synthesis and bone growth? Option C GH. Which hormone promotes cell division, protein synthesis and bone growth is GH, growth hormone. GH means growth hormone. Which of the following is a bacterial disease? Which of the following is a bacterial disease? Option A measles, option B leprosy, option C scurvy, option D diabetes. Which of the following is a bacterial disease? Option B leprosy. Which of the following is a bacterial disease? Or answer leprosy. Which of the following is a bacterial disease? Answer leprosy. Which pair is wrong? Option A, tuber, potato. Option B, rhizome, ginger. Option C, bulb, onion. Option D, corn, mint. The wrong pair is option D, corn, mint. The wrong pair is option D, corn, mint. Progesterone and estrogen hormones are secreted by option A, corpus callosum. Option B, corpus luteum. Option C, corpus luteria. Option D, corpus albicans. Progesterone and estrogen hormones are secreted by option B, corpus luteum. Progesterone and estrogen hormones are secreted by corpus luteum. Progesterone and estrogen hormones are secreted by corpus luteum. A secretion that digests both carbohydrates and protein is option A, taurine. Option B, pepsin. Option C, pancreatic juice. Option D, saliva. A secretion that digests both carbohydrates and protein is option C, pancreatic juice. A secretion that digests both carbohydrates and protein is pancreatic juice. A secretion that digests both carbohydrates and protein is pancreatic juice. Who is known as father of antiseptic surgery? Who is known as father of antiseptic surgery? Option A, Joseph Lister. Option B, Edward Jenner. Option C, Paul Ehrlich. Option D, Robert Koch. Who is known as father of antiseptic surgery? Option A, Joseph Lister. Who is known as father of antiseptic surgery? Joseph Lister. Joseph Lister as father of antiseptic surgery. Joseph Lister is known as the father of antiseptic surgery. Joseph Lister is known as father of antiseptic surgery. Which of the following is the resistant form of bacteria? Which of the following is the resistant form of bacteria? Option A, L forms. Option B, spore. Option C, capsulated form. Option D, vegetative form. Which form of the following is the resistant form of bacteria? Answer B, spore. Which of the following is the resistant form of bacteria? Answer B, spore. Smallest cell in blood. Smallest cell in blood. Option A, RBC. Option B, WBC. Option C, platelets. Option D, lymphocytes. Smallest cell in blood is platelets. Smallest cell in blood, platelets. Smallest cell in blood, platelets. Functional unit of kidney. Functional unit of kidney. Option A, glomeruli. Option B, renal tubules. Option C, nephrons. Option D, calyx. Functional unit of kidney is option C, nephrons. Functional unit of kidney is nephrons. Normal calcium value in humans. Normal calcium value in humans. Option A, 12 to 14. Option B, 9 to 10.5. Option C, 7 to 8. Option D, 10 to 12. Normal calcium value in humans is option B, 9 to 10.5. Normal calcium value in humans, 9 to 10.5. Normal calcium value in humans, 9 to 10.5. Modern urine acid for staining. Modern urine acid for staining. Option A, iodine. Option B, phenol. Option C, alum. Option D, iron. Modern urine acid for staining is option B, phenol. Modern urine acid for staining, phenol. Modern urine acid for staining, phenol. What is the percentage of agar used in solid media? What is the percentage of agar used in solid media? Option A, 1.5 to 2. B 4 to 5, C 0 to 0.5, D 6 to 7. What is the percentage of agar used in solid media? Option A 1.5 to 2. What is the percentage of agar used in solid media? 1.5 to 2. What is the percentage of agar used in solid media? 1.5 to 2. Diameter of standard loop. Diameter of standard loop is option A 2 mm, B 8 mm, C 12 mm, D 10 mm. Diameter of standard loop is option A 2 mm. Diameter of standard loop is 2 mm. Diameter of standard loop is 2 mm. Which of the following is an example for Romanowski scale? Which of the following is an example for Romanowski scale? Option A Jenner stain, option B Bob stain, option C H and E stain, option D Gram stain. Which of the following is an example for Romanowski stain? Is option A Jenner stain. Which of the following is an example for Romanowski stain? Answer Jenner stain. Jenner's stain is an example for Romanowski stain. Which reagent is used for sickling test? Which reagent is used for sickling test? Option A 2% ammonia. Option B 2% sodium metabisulfite. Option C 2% potassium ferricyanide. Option D 2% sodium hydroxide. Which reagent is used for sickling test? Answer B 2% sodium metabisulfite. Which reagent is used for sickling test? 2% sodium metabisulfite. Sodium metabisulfite is used as reagent in sickling test. Reagent used for sickling test is 2% for sodium metabisulfite. Normal bleeding time under Duke's method is option A 2 to 3 minutes, option B 5 to 8 minutes, C 5 to 10 minutes, D 8 to 10 minutes. Normal bleeding time under Duke's method is option A 2 to 3 minutes. Normal bleeding time under Duke's method is option A 2 to 3 minutes. Normal bleeding time under Duke's method is 2 to 3 minutes. Antibodies produced in HDN is option A IgM, option B IgG, option C IgD, option D IgA. Antibodies produced in HDN is option B IgG. Antibodies produced in HDN is IgG. Antibodies produced in HDN is IgG. Perforin is released by option A NK cell, option B T memory, option C TH cell, option D macrophage. Perforin is released by option A NK cell. Perforin is released by NK cell. Perforin is released by NK cell. Acid used for sodium nitroprusside preparation. Option A nitric acid, option B sulfuric acid, option C tartaric acid, option D hydrochloric acid. Acid used for sodium nitroprusside preparation. Answer option A nitric acid. Acid used for sodium nitroprusside preparation, nitric acid. Acid used for sodium nitroprusside preparation, nitric acid. Acid used for sodium nitroprusside preparation is nitric acid. Reagent used in Biard's test. Reagent used in Biard's test. Option A oxinol in HCl. Option B lisoxinol in HCl. Option C copper in copper acetate. Option D alpha naphthol in alcohol. Reagent used in Biard's test is oxinol in HCl. Reagent used in Biard's test is oxinol in HCl. Option A oxinol in HCl. Reagent used in Biard's test is oxinol in HCl. Total valency of IgM. Total valency of IgM. Option A 10, option B 5, option C 2, option D 3. Total valency of IgM is Option A 10. Total valency of IgM is 10. Total valency of IgM is 10. Disseminated Neisseria infection is commonly associated with the deficiency of option A proper dendritic, option B factor D, option C C1 inhibitory deficiency, option D membrane attached complex MAC. Disseminated Neisseria infection is commonly associated with the deficiency of D membrane attached complex MAC. Disseminated Neisseria infection is commonly associated with the deficiency of membrane attached complex. Disseminated Neisseria infection is commonly associated with the deficiency of membrane attached complex. Ideal anticoagulant for blood glucose estimation. Ideal anticoagulant for blood glucose estimation. Option A fluoride oxalate, option B heparin, option C EDTA, option D double oxalate. Ideal anticoagulant for blood glucose estimation is option A fluoride oxalate. Ideal anticoagulant for blood glucose estimation is fluoride oxalate. Ideal anticoagulant for blood glucose estimation is fluoride oxalate.
Drugs that inhibits cholesterol synthesis. Option A clofibate, option B metformin, option C lovastatin, option D cetirizine. Drugs that inhibits cholesterol synthesis is option C lovastatin. Drugs that inhibits cholesterol synthesis is lovastatin. Drugs that inhibits cholesterol synthesis is lovastatin.
Normal LDL level in human body. Normal LDL level in human body. Options: less than 100, B less than 130, C 100 to 120, D less than 150. Normal LDL level in human body. Answer: option A less than 100. Normal LDL level in human body. Option A less than 100. LDL means low density lipoprotein. Normal low density lipoprotein level in human body is less than 100. CD4 complex is found in CD4 complex is found on option A helper T cells, option B killer T cells, option C cytotoxic T cells, option D none of these. CD4 complex is found on option A helper T cells. CD4 complex is found on helper T cells. CD4 complex is found on helper T cells. Vandenberg reaction is used to detect. Vandenberg reaction is used to detect option A albumin, option B globulin, option C uric acid, option D bilirubin. Vandenberg reaction is used to detect option D bilirubin. Vandenberg reaction is used to detect bilirubin. Vandenberg reaction is used to detect bilirubin. Which one of the following is the gold standard clearance marker? Which one of the following is the gold standard clearance marker? Option A urea, option B creatine, option C cystatin, option D inulin. Which one of the following is the gold standard clearance marker is option D inulin. Which one of the following is the gold standard clearance marker is inulin? First question. Who is known as father of modern microbiology? Who is known as father of modern microbiology? Option A Edward Jenner, option B Alexander Fleming, option C Louis Pasteur, option D Joseph Lister. Who is known as father of modern microbiology? Answer: option C Louis Pasteur. Who is known as father of modern microbiology? Louis Pasteur. Who is known as father of modern microbiology? Louis Pasteur. Which of the following turns to macrophage in tissues? Which of the following turns to macrophage in tissues? Option A, eosinophil. Option B, lymphocyte. Option C, platelets. Option D, monocytes. Which of the following turns to macrophage in tissues? Option D, monocytes. Which of the following turns to macrophage in tissues? Monocytes. Which of the following turns to macrophage in tissues? Answer, monocytes. Normal RBC value in humans. Normal RBC value in humans. Option A, 1 lakh to 4 lakh per mm cube. B, 4.5 to 5.5 millions per mm cube. C, 2.5 to 4.5 millions per mm cube. D, 4,000 to 11,000 cells per mm cube. Normal RBC value in human. Option B, 4.5 to 5.5 millions per millimeter cube. Normal RBC value in humans, 4.5 to 5.5. Normal RBC value in humans, 4.5 to 5.5 millions. Lifespan of RBC. Lifespan of RBC. Option A, 100. Option B, 120. Option C, 1 week. Option D, 44 days. Lifespan of RBC. Option B, 120 days. Lifespan of RBC, 120 days. Lifespan of RBC, 120 days. Normal hemoglobin level in humans. Normal hemoglobin level in humans. Option A, 11 to 13. B, 30.8 to 17.2. Option C, 12 to 14. Option D, 18 to 20. Normal hemoglobin level in humans. Option B, 13.8 to 17.2. Normal hemoglobin level in humans, 30.8 to 17.2. Normal hemoglobin level in humans, 13.8 to 17.2. Which of the following is not a transfusion transmitted disease? Which of the following is not a transfusion transmitted disease? Option A, HIV. Option B, hepatitis B. Option C, syphilis. Option D, cholera. Which of the following is not a transfusion transmitted disease? Option D, cholera. Which of the following is not a transfusion transmitted disease? Cholera. Blackwater fever caused by dash. Blackwater fever caused by dash. Option A, Plasmodium vivax. Option B, Plasmodium falciparum. Option C, Leishmania donwarini. Option D, Microfilaria. Blackwater fever caused by. Option B, Plasmodium falciparum. Blackwater fever caused by Plasmodium falciparum. Blackwater fever caused by Plasmodium falciparum. Maximum digestion takes place in option A, duodenum, option B, jejunum, option C, ileum, option D, colon. Maximum digestion takes place in option A, duodenum. Maximum digestion takes place in duodenum. Maximum digestion takes place in duodenum. Joint between atlas and axis is option A, pivot joint, option B, fibrous joint, option C, angular joint, option D, hinge joint. Joint between atlas and axis is option A, pivot joint. Joint between atlas and axis is option A, pivot joint. Joint between atlas and axis is pivot joint. Strain is due to overstretching of option A, muscles, option B, bones, option C, ligaments, Option D, tendon. Sprain is due to overstretching of ligaments. Strain is due to overstretching of ligaments. Strain is due to overstretching of ligaments. Who developed hydrogen bomb? Who developed hydrogen bomb? Option A, Werner von Braun. Option B, Robert Oppenheimer. Option C, Edward Teller. Option D, Samuel Cohen. Who developed hydrogen bomb? Option C, Edward Teller. Who developed hydrogen bomb? Edward Teller. Who developed hydrogen bomb? Edward Teller. Nucleus of an atom consists of option A, proton, option B, neutron, option C, proton and neutron, option D, electron, proton and neutron. Nucleus of an atom consists of proton and neutron. Nucleus of an atom consists of proton and neutron. Nucleus of an atom consists of proton and neutron. Which of the following elements is non-radioactive? Which of the following elements is known as radioactive? Option A, uranium. Option B, thorium. Option C, plutonium. Option D, zirconium. Which of the following elements is non-radioactive? Option D, zirconium. Which of the following elements is non-radioactive? Zirconium. Non-radioactive, zirconium. Vulcanization of rubber is carried out by adding. Vulcanization of rubber is carried out by adding. Option A, sulfur. Option B, carbon. Option C, ozone. Option D, phosphorus. Vulcanization of rubber is carried out by adding. Option A, sulfur. Vulcanization of rubber is carried out by adding sulfur. Vulcanization of rubber is carried out by adding sulfur. Which one of the following is extensively used for sterilizing water? Which one of the following is extensively used for sterilizing water? Option A, bleaching powder. Option B, alum. Option C, borax powder. Option D, soda powder. Which one of the following is extensively used for sterilizing water? Option A, bleaching powder. Which one of the following is extensively used for sterilizing water? Bleaching powder. Which one of the following is extensively used for sterilizing water? Bleaching powder. An emulsion is a colloid of option A, gas in a liquid, option B, liquid in a liquid, option C, liquid in a gas, option D, gas in a solid. An emulsion is a colloid of option B, liquid in a liquid. An emulsion is a colloid of liquid in a liquid. An emulsion is a colloid of liquid in a liquid. The chemical name of common salt is option A, sodium chloride, option B, sodium nitrate, option C, ammonium chloride, option D, calcium chloride. The chemical name of common salt is sodium chloride. The chemical name of common salt is sodium chloride. Galena is a mineral of option A, iron, option B, gold, option C, lead, option D, calcium. Galena is a mineral of option C, lead. Galena is a mineral of lead. Galena is a mineral of lead. What is the SI unit of molar conductivity? What is the SI unit of molar conductivity? Option A, S, m cube mole raised to minus 2. B, S, m square mole raised to minus 2. C, S, m inverse mole raised to 2. D, S, m square mole raised to minus 1. The answer is option D, S, m square per mole. What is the SI unit of molar conductivity? S, m square per mole. What is the SI unit of molar conductivity? S, m square per mole. SI unit of molar conductivity? S, m square mole inverse. Brass is made of option A, copper and tin, option B, tin and lead, option C, copper and zinc, option D, copper, tin and zinc. Brass is made of option C, copper and zinc. Brass is made of copper and zinc. Question. Heat from the sun reaches the earth by option A reflection, option B conduction, option C radiation, option D convection. Heat from the sun reaches the earth by option C radiation. Heat from the sun reaches the earth by option C radiation. Heat from the sun reaches the earth by radiation. Electrostatic precipitator is used to control the pollution of option A air, option B water, option C noise, option D thermal. Electrostatic precipitator is used to control the pollution of air. Electrostatic precipitator is used to control the pollution of air. Electrostatic precipitator is used to control the pollution of air. If the diameter of a capillary tube is double, then the rise of water in it will be. If the diameter of a capillary tube is double, then the rise of water in it will be option A 2 times, option B half, option C 4 times, option D no change. If the diameter of a capillary tube is double, then the rise of water in it will be half. Option B half. If the diameter of a capillary tube is double, then the rise of water in it will be half. If the diameter of a capillary tube is double, then the rise of water in it will be half. Decibel is the unit used for option A speed of light, option B intensity of heat, option C intensity of sound, option D radio wave frequency. Decibel is the unit used for option C intensity of sound. Decibel is the unit used for intensity of sound. Decibel is the unit used for intensity of sound. A multimeter is used to measure option A current, option B voltage, option C resistance, option D all the above. A multimeter is used to measure all the above. A multimeter is used to measure all current, voltage, resistance. A multimeter is used to measure current, voltage, resistance. A multimeter is used to measure current, voltage, resistance. Newton's first law of motion gives the concept of option A energy, option B work, option C momentum, option D inertia. Newton's first law of motion gives the concept of option D inertia. Newton's first law of motion gives the concept of inertia. Newton's first law of motion gives the concept of inertia. Newton's first law of motion gives the concept of inertia. Sound cannot pass through option A water, option B steam, option C air, option D vacuum. Sound cannot pass through option D vacuum. Sound cannot pass through option D vacuum. Sound cannot pass through vacuum. Sound cannot pass through vacuum. The slope of a velocity time graph represents option A acceleration, option B displacement, option C distance, option D speed. The slope of a velocity time graph represents option A acceleration. The slope of a velocity time graph represents option A acceleration. The slope of a velocity time graph represents acceleration. Ball pen functions on the principle of option A viscosity, option B Boyle's law, option C gravitational force, option D surface tension. Ball pen functions on the principle of surface tension. Ball pen functions on the principle of surface tension. Ball pen functions on the principle of surface tension. A bullet is fired from a rifle which recoils after firing. The ratio of kinetic energy of the rifle to that of the bullet is. A bullet is fired from a rifle which recoils after firing. The ratio of kinetic energy of the rifle to that of the bullet is option A 0, option B 1, option C less than 1, option D more than 1. A bullet is fired from a rifle which recoils after firing. The ratio of kinetic energy of the rifle to that of the bullet is option A 0. A bullet is fired from a rifle which recoils after firing. The ratio of kinetic energy of the rifle to that of the bullet is 0. The ratio of kinetic energy of the rifle to that of the bullet is 0. Which factors are favorable for the formation of oxyhemoglobin? Which factors are favorable for the formation of oxyhemoglobin? A. High acidity. B. Low PCO2. C. Lesser H plus concentration. D. Lower temperature. Option A and B. Option B, A, B and C. Option C, B and C. Option D, A, B, C and D. Which factors are favorable for the formation of oxyhemoglobin? Answer option D, A, B, C and D. High acidity, low PCO2, lesser H plus concentration, lower temperature, all are favorable factors for the formation of oxyhemoglobin. All are favorable factors for the formation of oxyhemoglobin. High acidity, low PCO2, lesser H plus concentration, lower temperature. Sertoli cells are regulated by the pituitary hormone known as Sertoli cells are regulated by the pituitary hormone is known as option A FSH, option B GH, option C prolactin, option D more LH1. Sertoli cells are regulated by the pituitary hormone known as option A FSH. Sertoli cells are regulated by the pituitary hormone known as FSH. Sertoli cells are regulated by the pituitary hormone known as FSH. Follicle stimulating hormone FSH, follicle stimulating hormone. Sertoli cells are regulated by the pituitary hormone known as follicle stimulating hormone FSH. Which of the following is not a natural contraceptive method? Which of the following is not a natural contraceptive method? Option A, periodic abstinence. Option B, coitus interruptus. Option C, lactation amenorrhea. Option D, MTP. Which of the following is not a natural contraceptive method? Answer D, MTP. Which of the following is not a natural contraceptive method? MTP. MTP is not a natural contraceptive method. Mark the combination of antibodies which exist as single monomer only. Mark the combination of antibodies which exist as single monomer only. Option A IgG, IgA. Option B IgM, IgD. Option C IgD, IgE. Option D IgE, IgA. Mark the combination of antibodies which exist as single monomer only is option C IgD and IgE. Mark the combination of antibodies which exist as single monomer only IgD, IgE. IgD and IgE, the combination of antibodies which exist as single monomer only. Anamnestic response is caused by option A memory cells, option B helper T cells, option C T killer, option D cancer cells. Anamnestic response is caused by option A memory cells. Anamnestic response is caused by memory cells. Anamnestic response is caused by memory cells. Covax reagent is used for detecting. Covax reagent is used for detecting option A indole, option B catalase, option C oxidase, option D peroxidase. Covax reagent is used for detecting option A indole. Covax reagent is used for detecting indole. Covax reagent is used for detecting indole. Basic tracing sensitivity test is used to detect. Basic tracing sensitivity test is used to detect. Option A, Streptococcus pneumonia. Option B, Staphylococcus aureus. Option C, Streptococcus pyogenes. Option D, Pseudomonas aeruginosa. Basic tracing sensitivity test is used to detect. Option C, Streptococcus pyogenes. Basic tracing sensitivity test is used to detect Streptococcus pyogenes. Which of the following tests is used to detect prognosis during syphilis treatment? Which of the following tests is used to detect prognosis during syphilis treatment? Option A, VDRL. Option B, TPI. Option C, FTA-ABS. D, TPHA. Which of the following test is used to detect prognosis during syphilis treatment? Option A, VDRL. Which of the following test is used to detect prognosis during syphilis treatment? VDRL. VDRL test is used to detect prognosis during syphilis treatment. WHO ICSH recommended method for estimating hemoglobin is WHO ICSH recommended method for estimating hemoglobin is option A, Sianmet hemoglobin method, option B, oxyhemoglobin method, option C, Sally's method, option D, Haldane's method. WHO ICSH recommended method for estimating hemoglobin is option A, Sianmet hemoglobin method. Sianmet hemoglobin method. WHO ICSH recommended method for estimating hemoglobin is Sianmet hemoglobin method. What is the ratio between blood and anticoagulant for ESR estimation? What is the ratio between blood and anticoagulant for ESR estimation? Option A 1:4, option B 4:1, option C 9:1, option D 5:3. What is the ratio between blood and anticoagulant for ESR estimation? Answer 4:1. What is the ratio between blood and anticoagulant for ESR estimation? 4:1. 4:1 is the ratio between blood and anticoagulant for ESR estimation. Which of the following test is most accurate for measuring bleeding time? Which of the following test is most accurate for measuring bleeding time? Option A, fingertip method. Option B, Leavitt method. Option C, Duke's method. Option D, Ivy's method. Which of the following test is most accurate for measuring bleeding time? Answer D, Ivy's method. Which of the following test is most accurate for measuring bleeding time? Ivy's method. Which gauge size needle is used in blood banks? Which gauge size needle is used in blood banks? Option A 16G, option B 19G, option C 20G, option D 22G. Which gauge size needle is used in blood banks? Answer 16G. Which gauge size needle is used in blood banks? 16. Which gauge size needle is used in blood banks? Answer 16. Compatibility test includes option A donor grouping, recipient grouping, C cross matching, D all the above. Compatibility test includes option D all the above. Compatibility test includes all donor grouping, recipient grouping, cross matching. Compatibility test includes all donor grouping, recipient grouping, cross matching. Compatibility test includes donor grouping, recipient grouping and cross matching. Oliguria with a decreased specific gravity is found in option A glomerulonephritis, option B bladder cancer, option C SIADH, option D UTI. Oliguria with a decreased specific gravity is found in option A glomerulonephritis. Oliguria with a decreased specific gravity is found in glomerulonephritis. Oliguria with a decreased specific gravity is found in glomerulonephritis. Reagent used in Drum and Shipley's method for ketone body estimation. Reagent used in Drum and Shipley's method for ketone body estimation. Option A, lead acetate. Option B, sodium nitrite. Option C, sodium nitroprusside. Option D, sodium chloride. Reagent used in Drum and Shipley's method for ketone body estimation is answer C, sodium nitroprusside. Reagent used in Drum and Shipley's method for ketone body estimation is sodium nitroprusside. Reagent used in Drum and Shipley's method for ketone body estimation is sodium nitroprusside.
Mycoplasma are different from the other prokaryotes by Mycoplasma are different from the other prokaryotes by option A, presence of chitin in cell walls, option B, presence of marine in cell walls, option C, presence of proteins in cell walls, option D, absence of cell wall itself. Answer option D, absence of cell wall itself. Mycoplasma are different from the other prokaryotes by absence of cell wall itself. Gram staining was introduced by option A, Christian Gram, option B, Alfred Gram, option C, Robert Cook, option D, Louis Pasteur. Gram staining was introduced by option A, Christian Gram. Gram staining was introduced by Christian Gram. Which of the following structure is absent in eukaryotic cell? Which of the following structure is absent in eukaryotic cell? Option A, mitochondria. Option B, chloroplast. Option C, Golgi structures. Option D, mesosome. Answer is option D, mesosome. Which of the following structure is absent in eukaryotic cell? Option D, mesosome. All of the following are features of prokaryotes except option A, nitrogen fixation, option B, photosynthesis, option C, sexual reproduction, option D, locomotion. All of the following are features of prokaryotes except sexual reproduction. All of the following are features of prokaryotes except sexual reproduction. The foundation for the germ theory of disease was set down by option A, Robert Koch, option B, Ronald Ross, option C, Louis Pasteur, option D, Walter Reed. The foundation for the germ theory of disease was set down by option C, Louis Pasteur. The foundation for the germ theory of disease was set down by Louis Pasteur. Most microbial structure and enzymes are composed of option A, lipids, option B, proteins, option C, carbohydrates, option D, lipids and carbohydrates. Most microbial structure or enzymes are composed of option B, proteins. Most microbial structure and enzymes are composed of proteins. Answer option B, proteins. The individual best remembered for bringing microbes to the world is option A, Robert Hooke, option B, Anthony van Leeuwenhoek, option C, Robert Koch, option D, Masaki Ogata. The individual best remembered for bringing microbes to the world is Anthony van Leeuwenhoek. Anthony van Leeuwenhoek. Who discovered the bacteria that cause cholera? Who discovered the bacteria that cause cholera? Option A, Perry Berthelot. Option B, Robert Koch. Option C, Louis Pasteur. Option D, Rudolf Virchow. Who discovered the bacteria that cause cholera is option B, Robert Koch. Robert Koch discovered the bacteria that cause cholera. Who discovered the bacteria that cause cholera is Robert Koch. The idea of selective toxicity was first proposed by option A, Anthony van Leeuwenhoek, option B, Alexander Fleming, option C, Paul Ehrlich, option D, Louis Pasteur. The idea of selective toxicity was first proposed by Paul Ehrlich. The idea of selective toxicity was first proposed by Paul Ehrlich. Which of the following is the most primitive? Option A virus, option B eukaryote, option C archaean, option D mitochondria. Which of the following is the most primitive? Answer option C archaean. Which of the following is the most primitive? Option C archaean. Which of the following structure is present in prokaryotic cells? Option A mitochondria, option B chloroplast, option C Golgi structure, option D mesosome. Which of the following structure is present in prokaryotic cell? Option D mesosome. Which of the following structure is present in prokaryotic cell? Mesosome. The word cell was first used by option A Robert Hooke, option B Theodore Schwann, option C Louis Pasteur, option D Ronald Ross. The word cell was first used by Robert Hooke. The word cell was first used by Robert Hooke. What are blue-green bacteria called? Option A Acobacteria, option B Cyanobacteria, option C Protozoa, option D none. What are blue-green bacteria? Option B Cyanobacteria. Blue-green bacteria, Cyanobacteria. Which of the following bacteria lack a cell wall and are therefore resistant to penicillin? Option A Cyanobacteria, option B Mycoplasmas, option C Dellovibrios, option D Spirochetes. Which of the following bacteria lack a cell wall and are therefore resistant to penicillin is Mycoplasma. Mycoplasma. Answer is option B Mycoplasma.
Peptidoglycan accounts for dash of the dry weight of cell wall in many gram-positive bacteria. Peptidoglycan accounts for dash of the dry weight of cell wall in many gram-positive bacteria. Option A 50% or more. Option B about 10%. Option C 30%. Option D about 20%. Answer option A 50% or more. Peptidoglycan accounts for 50% or more of the dry weight of cell wall in many gram-positive bacteria. The cell walls of many gram-positive bacteria can be easily destroyed by this enzyme known as option A lipase, option B lysozyme, option C pectinase, option D peroxidase. The cell walls of many gram-positive bacteria can be easily destroyed by the enzyme known as option B lysozyme. The cell walls of many gram-positive bacteria can be easily destroyed by the enzyme known as lysozyme. The cell wall of option A gram-positive bacteria are thicker than gram-negative bacteria. Option B gram-negative bacteria are thicker than gram-positive bacteria. Option C both have same thickness but composition is different. Option D none. The cell wall of gram-positive bacteria are thicker than gram-negative bacteria. The cell wall of gram-positive bacteria are thicker than gram-negative bacteria. Peptidoglycan is also known as option A N-acetylmuramic acid, option B marine, option C N-acetylglucosamine, option D mesodiaminopimelic acid. Peptidoglycan is also known as option B marine. Peptidoglycan is also known as option B marine. Which is most likely to be exposed on the surface of a gram-negative bacteria? Option A pod protein, option B protein involved in energy generation, option C lipoteichoic acid, option D phospholipids. Which is most likely to be exposed on the surface of gram-negative bacteria? Answer option A pod protein. Which is most likely to be exposed on the surface of gram-negative bacteria? Pore protein or porine. Which is most likely to be exposed on the surface of gram-negative bacteria? Option A, pore protein or porine. The cocci which forms a bunch and irregular pattern are option A, staphylococci, option B, diplococci, option C, tetracocci, option D, streptococci. The cocci which forms a bunch and irregular pattern are option A, staphylococci. The cocci which forms a bunch and irregular patterns are staphylococci. Chemotaxis is a phenomenon of option A, swimming away of bacteria, option B, swimming towards of bacteria, option C, swimming away or towards of bacteria in presence of chemical compound, option D, none. Chemotaxis is phenomenon of option C, swimming away or towards of bacteria in presence of chemical compound. Chemotaxis is a phenomenon of swimming away or towards of bacteria in presence of chemical compound.
First question. Loudness of sounds depends upon dash of the sound wave. Loudness of sound depends upon dash of the sound waves. Option A, frequency. Option B, wavelength. Option C, amplitude. Option D, pitch. Loudness of sounds depends upon amplitude of the sound wave. Answer is option C, amplitude. Loudness of sounds depends upon amplitude of the sound wave. The reason behind decrease in the boiling point of water at higher altitude is option A, high temperature, option B, low temperature, option C, high atmospheric pressure, option D, low atmospheric pressure. The reason behind decrease in the boiling point of water at a higher altitude is option D, low atmospheric pressure. The reason behind decrease in the boiling point of water at a higher altitude is low atmospheric pressure. Which device is used to measure the wavelength of X-rays? Option A, Framing square. Option B, spectrometer. Option C, manometer. Option D, SWR meter. Which device is used to measure the wavelength of X-ray is spectrometer. Spectrometer is used to measure the wavelength of X-ray. The hydraulic press depends upon dash. Option A, Coulomb's law. Option B, Pascal's principle. Option C, Boyle's law. Option D, Bernoulli's principle. The hydraulic press depends upon Pascal's principle. The hydraulic press depends upon Pascal's principle. The Newton's first law is also referred as option A, law of inertia, option B, law of friction, option C, law of moments, option D, law of motion. The Newton's first law is also referred as option A, law of inertia. The Newton's first law is also referred as law of inertia. Which instrument is used to measure atmospheric humidity? Option A, lactometer. Option B, barometer. Option C, hygrometer. Option D, thermometer. Which instrument is used to measure atmospheric humidity? Answer is option C, hygrometer. Hygrometer is used to measure atmospheric humidity. The unit of Planck's constant is option A, Js, option B, joule per second, option C, Js square, option D, none of these. The unit of Planck's constant is option A, joule second. The unit of Planck's constant is joule second. SI unit of electric charge is option A, ampere, Option B coulomb. Option C ohm. Option D Kelvin. SI unit of electric charge is option B coulomb. SI unit of electric charge is option B coulomb. Which instrument is used to convert heat into electrical energy? Option A ammeter. Option B hydrometer. Option C thermoelectric generator. Option D voltmeter. Which instrument is used to convert heat into electrical energy? Is option C thermoelectric generator. Thermoelectric generator is used to convert heat into electrical energy. In a filament type light bulb, most of the electric power consumed appears as option A LED light, option B infrared rays, option C ultraviolet rays, option D fluorescent. In a filament type light bulb, most of the electric power consumed appears as option B infrared rays. In a filament type light bulb, most of the electric power consumed appears as infrared rays. What is the minimum escape velocity of rocket to be launched into space? Option A 4 km per second, option B 8 km per second, option C 11 km per second, option D 13 km per second. The minimum escape velocity of rocket to be launched into space is option C 11 km per second. The minimum escape velocity of rocket to be launched into space is 11 km per second. What is the chemical name for baking soda? Option A sodium carbonate, option B sodium bicarbonate, option C calcium bicarbonate, option D sodium nitrate. What is the chemical name for baking soda? Answer is option B sodium bicarbonate. The chemical name for baking soda is sodium bicarbonate. The element which is commonly used in nuclear plants for producing electricity by nuclear fission is option A radium, option B plutonium, option C uranium, option D deuterium. The element which is commonly used in nuclear plants for producing electricity by nuclear fission is option C uranium. The element which is commonly used in nuclear plants for producing electricity by nuclear fission is uranium. Which of the following is used as a lubricant in heavy machines? Option A bauxite, option B sulfur, option C phosphorus, option D graphite. Which of the following is used as a lubricant in heavy machines? Answer is option D graphite. Graphite is used as a lubricant in heavy machines. Which of the following is related to galvanization? Option A deposition of zinc on iron. Option B deposition of tin on iron. Option C deposition of copper on iron. Option D deposition of aluminum on iron. Which of the following is related to galvanization? Answer is option A deposition of zinc on iron. Galvanization means deposition of zinc on iron. The atomic number of carbon is 6 and its atomic mass is 12. How many protons are there in the nucleus of carbon? Option A 6, option B 12, option C 18, option D 0. The atomic number of carbon is 6 and its atomic mass is 12. How many protons are there in the nucleus of carbon? The answer is option A 6. The atomic number of carbon is 6 and its atomic mass is 12. How many protons are there in the nucleus of carbon is 6. What is milk of magnesia chemically? Option A magnesium carbonate, option B sodium bicarbonate, option C calcium hydroxide, option D magnesium hydroxide. What is milk of magnesia chemically? The answer is option D magnesium hydroxide. Milk of magnesia is magnesium hydroxide. Which among the following metals provides atmospheric oxide? Option A sodium, option B silver, option C aluminum, option D calcium. Which among the following metals provides atmospheric oxide? Answer is option C aluminum. Which among the following metals provides atmospheric oxide? Answer is option C aluminum. Which among the following elements is found in maximum percentage in the human body? Option A carbon, option B hydrogen, option C nitrogen, option D oxygen. Which among the following elements found in maximum percentage in human body is option D oxygen? Which among the following elements is found in maximum percentage in the human body? Answer is oxygen. Which among the following coal contains 90% of carbon? Option A anthracite, option B bitumen, option C lignite, option D peat. Which among the following coal contains 90% of carbon? Option A anthracite. Anthracite contains 90% of carbon. Which is abundant in gobar gas? Which is abundant in gobar gas? Option A carbon dioxide, option B methane, option C oxygen, option D hydrogen. Which is abundant in gobar gas is option B methane. Which is abundant in gobar gas is methane. Which of the following alkali metals has highest specific heat? Option A cesium, option B rubidium, option C potassium, option D lithium. Which of the following alkali metals has highest specific heat? Answer is option D lithium. Lithium have highest specific heat. The ratio of pure gold in 18 karat gold is option A 60%, option B 75%, option C 80%, option D 90%. The ratio of pure gold in 18 karat gold is 75%. The ratio of pure gold in 18 karat gold is 75%. Which among the following helps in circulation of blood? Option A erythrocytes, option B blood platelets, option C monocytes, option D lymphocytes. Which among the following helps in circulation of blood? Answer is option D lymphocytes. Lymphocytes helps in circulation of blood. Pituitary gland is located at the base of option A brain, option B kidney, option C liver, option D intestine. Pituitary gland is located at the base of brain. Pituitary gland is located at the base of brain. First question, the first phase of mitosis. Option A anaphase, option B prophase, option C metaphase, option D telophase. The first phase of mitosis is option B prophase. The first phase of mitosis is prophase. Double fertilization was discovered by option A Navachin, option B Hofmeister, option C Francis Harry, option D George Ward. Double fertilization was discovered by option A Navachin. Double fertilization was discovered by option A Navachin. Any part of a plant taken out and grown in a test tube under sterile condition in a special nutrient media for initiating a culture is option A callus, option B somaclons, option C explant, option D none of these. Any part of a plant taken out and grown in a test tube under sterile condition in a special nutrient media for initiating a culture is explant. Answer is option C explant. Any part of a plant taken out and grown in a test tube under sterile condition in a special nutrient media for initiating a culture is explant. Enzymes used for opening cells to get DNA for genetic experiment. Option A, cleaving enzymes. Option B, lysing enzymes. Option C, joining enzymes. Option D, none of these. Enzymes used for opening cells to get DNA for genetic experiment is option B, lysing enzymes. Enzymes used for opening cells to get DNA for genetic experiment is lysing enzymes. An example for lotic ecosystem is option A, pond, option B, river, option C, swamp, option D, forest. An example for lotic ecosystem is option B, river. An example for lotic ecosystem is river. In flowering plants, meiosis occurs at the time of option A, formation of pollen grains, option B, formation of buds, option C, formation of seeds, option D, none of these. In flowering plants, meiosis occurs at the time of formation of pollen grains. In flowering plants, meiosis occurs at the time of formation of pollen grains. Plasma protein which helps in clotting of blood. Option A, albumin. Option B, globulin. Option C, fibrinogen. Option D, myosin. Plasma protein which helps in clotting of blood is option C, fibrinogen. Plasma protein which helps in clotting of blood is fibrinogen. Embryo gets oxygen and nutrients through option A, amnion. Option B, placenta. Option C, fimbriae. Option D, ampulla. Embryo gets oxygen and nutrients through option B, placenta. Embryo gets oxygen and nutrients through placenta. Hormone secreted by pineal gland. Option A, melatonin. Option B, thyroxine. Option C, oxytocin. Option D, vasopressin. Hormone secreted by pineal gland is option A, melatonin. Hormone secreted by pineal gland is melatonin. Impurities which change the electrical properties are called option A, mutants. Option B, dopants. Option C, sonants. Option D, tyrants. Impurities which change the electrical property are called dopants. Impurities which change the electrical property are called dopants. Substances which when placed in a strong magnetic field acquire a weak magnetism in a direction opposite to that of applied magnetic field is known as option A, paramagnetic substance, option B, diamagnetic substance, option C, ferromagnetic substance, option D, none of these. Substances which when placed in a strong magnetic field acquire a weak magnetism in a direction opposite to that of applied magnetic field is known as option B, diamagnetic substance. Answer is option B, diamagnetic substance. The splitting of different colors of light in prism is option A, reflection of light, option B, dispersion of light, option C, diffraction of light, option D, refraction of light. The splitting of different colors of light in prism is option B, dispersion of light. The splitting of different colors of light in prism is dispersion of light. While catching a ball, player pulls down his hands to lower the option A, momentum, option B, impulse, option C, both A and B, option D, catching time. While catching a ball, player pulls down his hands to lower the momentum. Option A, momentum. While catching a ball, player pulls down his hands to lower the momentum. Longitudinal wave cannot travel through option A, solid, option B, liquid, option C, gas, option D, vacuum. Longitudinal waves cannot travel through vacuum. Longitudinal wave cannot travel through vacuum. Pool of water appears less deep due to option A, reflection, option B, diffraction, Option C, refraction. Option D, polarization. Pond of water appears less deep due to answer option C, refraction. Pond of water appears less deep due to refraction. A falling drop of rainwater acquires the spherical shape due to option A, viscosity, option B, surface tension, option C, atmospheric pressure, option D, gravitational force. A falling drop of rainwater acquires the spherical shape due to option B, surface tension. A falling drop of rainwater acquires the spherical shape due to surface tension. Damp clothes are dried in spin dryers by the action of option A, centripetal force, option B, centrifugal force, option C, central force, option D, non-central force. Damp clothes are dried in spin dryers by the action of centrifugal force. Answer is option B, centrifugal force. Damp clothes are dried in spin dryers by the action of centrifugal force. Water is used in car radiator because of option A, low density, option B, low boiling point, option C, easy availability, option D, high specific heat capacity. Water is used in car radiator because of high specific heat capacity. Water is used in car radiator because of high specific heat capacity. Metal known as quicksilver. Metal known as quicksilver. Option A, mercury. Option B, platinum. Option C, aluminium. Option D, magnesium. Metal known as quicksilver is option A, mercury. Metal known as quicksilver is mercury. Metal known as quicksilver is mercury. The most abundant metal in bones. Option A, calcium. Option B, iron. Option C, sodium. Option D, none of these. The most abundant metal in bones, calcium. The most abundant metal in bones, calcium. First question. The process in which the ore heated to high temperature in the presence of excess supply air or oxygen. Option A, smelting. Option B, calcination. Option C, roasting. Option D, sublimation. The process in which the ore heated to high temperature in the presence of excess supply air or oxygen is roasting. Option C, roasting. The purest form of iron that contains the least amount of carbon is called option A, pig iron, option B, wrought iron, option C, cast iron, option D, none. The purest form of iron that contains the least amount of carbon is called wrought iron. The purest form of iron that contains the least amount of carbon is called wrought iron. An allotrope of carbon that conducts electricity. Option A, graphene. Option B, fullerene. Option C, graphite. Option D, diamond. An allotrope of carbon that conducts electricity is option C, graphite. An allotrope of carbon that conducts electricity is graphite. The noble gas known as stranger gas. Option A, xenon. Option B, krypton. Option C, helium. Option D, argon. The noble gas known as stranger gas is option A, xenon. The noble gas known as stranger gas is xenon. The noble gas known as stranger gas is xenon. First, artificial plastic. Option A, melamine. Option B, nylon. Option C, bakelite. Option D, polythene. First, artificial plastic is option C, bakelite. First, artificial plastic is bakelite. The procedure where the alcohol in tissue is replaced by a fluid which will dissolve the wax used for impregnating the tissue is option A, bit taking, option B, clearing, option C, embunding, option D, staining. The procedure where the alcohol in tissue is replaced by a fluid which will dissolve the wax used for impregnating the tissue is Answer is option B, clearing. The procedure where the alcohol in tissue is replaced by a fluid which will dissolve the wax used for impregnating the tissue is clearing. Answer is clearing. Tests done to evaluate the body response of a patient to an immediate increase in blood sugar value. Option A, colonoscopy. Option B, glucose challenge test. Option C, both A and B. Option D, none. Tests done to evaluate the body response of a patient to an immediate increase in blood sugar value is option B, glucose challenge test. Glucose challenge test. The test done to evaluate the body response of a patient to an immediate increase in blood sugar value is glucose challenge test. Malaria is transmitted by option A, Aedes aegypti mosquito, option B, Culex mosquito, option C, female Anopheles mosquito, option D, none. Malaria is transmitted by option C, female Anopheles mosquito. Malaria is transmitted by female Anopheles mosquito. Polyuria can be caused by option A, obstructions in urine flow, option B, diarrhea, option C, diabetes mellitus, option D, vomiting. Polyuria can be caused by option C, diabetes mellitus. Polyuria can be caused by diabetes mellitus. Urinometer is used to measure dash of urine. Option A, volume. Option B, specific gravity. Option C, reaction. Option D, transparency. Urinometer is used to measure specific gravity of urine. Urinometer is used to measure specific gravity of urine. Condition in which a person urine turns brown to black color. Option A, chyluria. Option B, alkaptonuria. Option C, myoglobinuria. Option D, hematuria. Condition in which a person urine turns brown to black color is option B, alkaptonuria. Condition in which a person urine turns brown to black color, alkaptonuria. Which of the following is the resistant form of bacteria? Option A, L forms. Option B, spore. Option C, capsulated form. Option D, vegetative form. Which of the following is the resistant form of bacteria? Option B, spore. Spore is the resistant form of bacteria. Decrease in all the cells in blood is known as option A, pancytosis, option B, pancellulitis, option C, pancytopenia, option D, pan-inflammation. Decrease in all the cells in blood is known as pancytopenia. Decrease in all the cells in blood is known as pancytopenia. Time period of centrifugation for determination of PCV. Option A, 5 minutes. Option B, 10 minutes. Option C, 20 minutes. Option D, 30 minutes. Time period of centrifugation for determination of PCV. Answer option D, 30 minutes. Time period of centrifugation for determination of PCV, 30 minutes. Which of the following WBC shows band forms? Option A, neutrophil. Option B, eosinophil. Option C, lymphocyte. Option D, monocyte. Which of the following WBC shows band forms? Neutrophil. Which of the following WBC shows band forms? Neutrophil. Final color developed in benzidine test. Option A, red. Option B, blue. Option C, yellow. Option D, brown. Final color developed in benzidine test is option B blue. Final color developed in benzidine test is blue. Which of the following tests are used to detect 17-hydroxysteroids? Option A, Clopper reaction. Option B, Brown's test. Option C, Zimmermann reaction. Option D, Porter-Silber reaction. Which of the following tests are used to detect 17-hydroxysteroids? Answer is option D, Porter-Silber reaction. Porter-Silber reaction tests are used to detect 17-hydroxysteroids. Nagler reaction is an example of option A, precipitation, option B, CFT, option C, agglutination, option D, neutralization. Nagler reaction is an example of neutralization. Nagler reaction is an example of neutralization. Which of the following fixative is used for blood containing cavities in histopathology? Option A, neutral buffered formalin. Option B, 10% formalin. Option C, Senger's fluid. Option D, Bound's fluid. Which of the following fixative is used for blood containing cavities in histopathology is option B, 10% formalin. Answer is option B, 10% formalin. Ketone body formation takes place in option A, liver, option B, kidney, option C, spleen, option D, blood. Ketone body formation takes place in option A, liver. Ketone body formation takes place in liver. LB reaction is used to detect option A, total protein, option B, total cholesterol, option C, glucose, option D, uric acid. LB reaction is used to detect total cholesterol. LB reaction is used to detect total cholesterol. Which gauge size needle is used in blood banks? Option A, 16G, option B, 19G, option C, 20G, option D, 22G. Which gauge size needle is used in blood banks? Option A, 16G. 16G gauge size needle is used in blood banks. Universal color coding used for blood group A is option A, blue, option B, yellow, option C, pink, option D, white. Universal color coding used for blood group A is option B, yellow. Answer is option B, yellow. Oliguria with the decreased specific gravity is found in option A, glomerulonephritis, option B, bladder cancer, option C, SIADH, option D, UTI. Oliguria with the decreased specific gravity is found in option A, glomerulonephritis. Oliguria with the decreased specific gravity is found in glomerulonephritis. All are components of Benedict's reagent except option A, sodium bicarbonate, option B, sodium carbonate, option C, sodium citrate, option D, copper sulfate. All are components of Benedict's reagent except option A, sodium bicarbonate. Sodium bicarbonate is not a Benedict reagent. All others are components of Benedict reagent. Sodium carbonate, sodium citrate, copper sulfate, all are components of Benedict's reagent. A sodium bicarbonate is not a component of Benedict's reagent.